Yeah, okay. I just got the memo that we live. Got the notification. Yeah, yeah. I could even hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. I mean, I can hear the playback on the YouTube. Yeah, 'cause that was what happened last time. It was some people could hear me, but it couldn't hear you. Remember, something like that happened. Hey, hey, so we can hear you now, right? That was you that we heard.
All right, device default. Okay. There's my audio. Now I see the lines going up. All right, let me check. There we go. There we go. Now we're perfect. All right. Big up everybody. Check, check, check. Microphone check. 1 2 1 2.
Check one, two, one, two.
We are ready to roll. All right. Yeah, I got it set up a little different. I'm just trying to tweak it, and try to perfect things with the new system. So, now I have a widget that if you look on the YouTubes, I don't even have to stream the whole call anymore. It just shows up our little two profiles, which is kind of cool. So, but now that I know I have to manually add the audio from mine because the Discord, all right, I understand now. I understand. Okay. So yeah, welcome everybody to this is episode 10. Episode 10 of reading The Common Ground Between Islam and Buddhism by Riza Shah Kazemi. Kazemi, I think. All right, let me just do one last thing. Pull up the YouTube chat so I can see that. Last thing. All right, pop out chat. There we go. Okay. No? All right.
I don't know if I was hearing that. Okay, wait. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna see if I was. I'm gonna go check if I can hear you.
Okay. I I'm pretty sure it's working. So I hope that it's working. Um Close that. This can go on the side. I got the book all pulled up. Book. Perfect.
Yeah, yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, you see how there's like just two little bubbles there? That's kind of cool, huh?
Okay.
Yeah. Just trying to
Yep.
perfect things. Yeah. And I got this on, let me take off the stream. So, yeah. So, in the Discord server, the chat that says stream chat or stream spot is,
Okay.
is live. So, anything that types in there will show up on the YouTube screen.
Okay.
Yeah, so anything like any kind of sources or stuff um
So
here
that means
we can
that
put.
means somebody from our Discord group will be able to will be able to chat with us both on Discord and everybody else can do it on the live chat and we'll still see your comments
Yep,
and we'll
yep,
read them. We'll still read them. Yeah, I'll read out your comments.
yeah. Oh, that's good. So I can put that
So you can do what?
I'm gonna just tag everyone and put that any comments here will be shown on stream. If you have any. Cool. So that's cool. I might just make it a little bit smaller. Perfect. All right, so I don't need that up. I just need this up. Make that a little bit smaller. Actually, I don't even really need that up right now. I can toggle it. Awesome. All right, I like the setup. We got Purple Pill in the house. Perry Tyler, thank you for coming through. Nice to see you. So yeah, let's get into it. Where do we leave? Where do we leave off? I remember we did the Metta Sutta, so that was I think 75.
Okay. Hello. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Where do we leave off? Let's go look where we left off, buddy. We left off at I think it's source of compassion, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Page 90, page 96.
Okay. On the page or the reader?
96 on the page. 96
Okay.
on the page. 121 on the reader. And before we yeah, we already said yeah, this is Mr. Pelu, our Jen, this is episode 10. So we on it. We're gonna go straight into the reading today. We're just gonna go straight in and thanks for being with us and we appreciate you coming out again, everybody here. I'll give shout outs later. Okay, let's go, Jen.
All right. Source of compassion. But this leaves out of account the question, What is the ultimate source of the compassion of the Buddha? A simple answer would be that this source is none other than the enlightened state itself. Compassion flows forth from the very nature of nirvana or shunya, but the question remains, how does compassion spring forth from an impersonal or suprapersonal state when the very nature of compassion is so clearly personal? That is, it so intimately implies a personal will, actively and compassionately involved in the lives of suffering humanity, a personal will which, moreover, must at the same time be transcended or absolute. It must be transcendent, otherwise, it could not save relative beings through its own compassion, but it must also assume a dimension of relativity. Otherwise, it would have no relation to living human beings. It is precisely this combination of absolute transcendence and personal compassion which is expressed in the Islamic conception of God's Rahmah and the various heavenly Buddhas depicted later in Mahayana texts.
Okay, so these are supposed to be so I get what they're saying. From an Islamic point of view, that's why we even say the Prophet Muhammad peace and blessings upon him we call Rahmatul Alameen. The same,
Mm.
and I see why you say the heavenly Buddhist because only because he's like the relative to us because he's like God's messenger, but he's made him human. So it's basically he's the one who instructed us on a system to communicate straight to God through absolute monotheism. You understand? So it's like I get what he's saying from an Islamic perspective. You need a personal, but it's saying by personal, but think about it though. Now from your perspective as a Buddhist, is what he's saying, is what is what he's saying evident of a personal God though, and he's making it seem like certain things in Mayana text make it make it make it
Yeah,
testify to a personal God.
The Mahayana text, remember that that's the one we went through with like the Adi Buddha. So they definitely have like they've kind of written in a an ultimate kind of God at the or Buddha at the top.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, they have kind of made it like that. So
Okay,
yeah, I
okay,
want to
okay.
see where he's going with it though. So let's see where he says.
Okay.
Um, the principle of compassion, so perfectly embodied in Gautama, the sage, infinitely transcended his own empirical individuality. As cited earlier, those who by my form did see me, and those who followed me by my voice, wrong are the efforts they engaged in. Me, those people will not see. From the Dharma, one should see the Buddha, for the Dharma bodies are the guides. The compassion proper to the Dharma is universal. Gautama the sage manifested this quality in one particular modality. This relationship between the particular and the universal is expressed in Buddhism by means of the mythology of cosmic Buddhas existing in unimaginably distant eons prior to the earthly appearance of Gautama. So yeah, that's what I was telling you about. Like there's, I think remember like there was a lineage one, and at the top there was like one Adi Buddha up there. Mahayana texts therefore present a picture of a personal God with diverse traits, the Adi Buddha, there we go, Vairocana, Amitabha, etc., without whose grace and mercy one cannot attain salvation into the Pure Land, let alone the state of nirvana, wherein the various Buddhas are all transcendent. It is clear that Mahayana Buddhism comes close to the Islamic conception of divinity as regards to the root of the quality of compassion, and both make explicit a metaphysically irrefutable principle. All right, what's irrefutable? Wait a minute. It's clear that Mahayana Buddhism comes close to the Islamic conception of divinity as regards the root of the quality of compassion. All right, the root of okay, and both make explicit a metaphysically irrefutable principle, one about which the Buddha himself was silent, but which he did not contradict. Compassion cannot be exhausted by its purely human manifestation. On the contrary, it derives all its power and efficacy,
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 efficacy, efficacy.
efficacy from its suprahuman, absolute, or divine source. This source is transcendent, but insofar as it radiates towards all creatures, it assumes a personal dimension, for it consists of an active, conscious, and loving will to save all creatures. To speak of such a will is to speak of some kind of person directing that will. Mm.
I mean, yeah, that's why we say that. But we'll say that because but insofar as it radiates towards all creatures, uh, it will still have that personal dimension even without it, because he's not dependent on creation. You understand? His personhood is not dependent on creation. His personhood is it always was. That's the only kind of thing I don't think he emphasized strong enough, or it might have been a little off absolute monotheism, or a little bit off Tawhid on that one. But but the general message was understandable though.
Okay.
But it was but the
In one respect, then, it can be seen as a personalization of the Absolute, bestowing upon the pure, ineffable Absolute a personal or anthropomorphic dimension, a dimension without which it cannot enter into engagement with human persons.
see, and that's the thing.
What do you
Uh,
think
uh,
about
um,
that?
uh, yeah, because see, that's what I'm trying to say. He's trying to say is that uh, um, by personalizing God, or holding to a personal God, you're necessarily you necessarily anthropomorphizing. And no, we don't believe in anthropomorphism in Islam. I tell you that for a fact. You know what I'm saying? His traits are not like the traits of creatures.
Hmm.
We might use terms that we understand, but doesn't mean we're anthropomorphizing, because what we're speaking of is another dimension. We use it. We have to use language that we understand to speak about anything, because if we use language that we can't understand to speak about that means our tradition will be in fact unintelligible even to us. We need intelligibility. You know what I'm trying to say? A habit needs intelligibility to be retained in the mind. You understand?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
For the pure absolute has no relation whatsoever with any conceivable relativity. But this personal dimension does not in any way diminish the absoluteness of the absolute, for the manifestation of such qualities as compassion, love, and mercy does not exhaust the nature of the principle thus manifested. As stressed before, the Absolute is the essence, transcending the names and qualities which are assumed by the Absolute in its relationship with the world. Transcending these names and qualities implies transcending those personal dimensions of God, which precisely are designated by the names and qualities. In this way, the Islamic synthesis between the two conceptions of God can be seen as analogous to the Mahayana Hinayana polarity within Buddhism.
Hey, well, I don't agree with how he's describing the
Synthesis
Islamic
between the
perspective.
two conceptions.
Hello? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the way he's describing Islam. He's describing it wrong, because he's trying to act like, okay, as stressed before, the absolute is the essence, translating the names and qualities which are assumed by the absolute relationship to the world. I mean, no, it's not in relation to the world. He gives it to us as he gives to us as a mercy, but he still has those these are the attributes of his essence, and he gave us a mercy by giving us the attributes of his essence. To in description of us to make us understand. He limited to 99 names. I know he transcends the 99 names, but he still gives us a mercy, and it's not that, and it's like he's trying to make it seem like it's two different ways to look at God. It's not two different ways. It's the one way we look at God is only through His essence. And these things are key. So it's not like a split. I think he's making a split, and he's trying to make a split. And I'm confirming it back by how he says, how and like how he says, in this way, the Islamic synthesis between two conceptions of God is there's no two conceptions of God in Islamic in Islam. It's not a synthesis. It's only one conception of one God,
But isn't it
absolutely one.
though? Like, isn't it though? Because like you have what he's describing as like the transcendent, like, above all names and concepts and everything, absolute suchness and essenceness and absoluteness and everything, right? But then you have all you do like the personal like labels and everything for it that you use to interact with it.
Well, we interact with it because it is a person. That's why it's shared with us personhood. I mean, it's a mind of its own. It has its own mind. God has a mind. He's intelligence.
So that's what I'm saying. So there is two ways of looking at it.
How? He's one. He's one essence.
Just by what I said. So like you have like the absolute, right? And then you have the the persona of it that you use to um perceive it or conceptualize it.
The communication, but it's not that. We're just communicating something. I mean, the names are just a communication. Isn't the names are not the names are not our conception of God. It is
It's
the
just the
communication
names
of our
and
conception of
qualities.
God.
So it says the names and qualities. So transcending the names and qualities, which are assumed by it, because that's what people prescribe to it. So yeah, it's assumed by it, right? So I don't understand what he's saying that's wrong.
It's wrong. It's not two
I
names.
stressed before the absolute is the essence, yeah? Transcending the names and the qualities, which are assumed by it in its relationship with the world. So, like, just the fact that humans have to, use what they're confounded to by the human condition.
So intelligibility.
Intelligibility. What do you mean?
So it could be understood like something is intelligible. You want to make something. You want the our communication of something must be intelligible. So we have systems of intelligibility, but it's not two different views of God. The names and everything He's given us these names as a sign of who He is. It's not like it's two different things. It's just signs of who He is. That's why He gives us these names. He's like these like mercies and gifts. It's like ah,
But it's still a personification,
but we think He's well we hold in our faith that He's a person.
right? So you hold in your faith that he's a person also, some the ultimate being that transcends people,
Yes, but his
right?
personhood is not like our personhood. He has a different personhood. He's an intelligence, but his intelligence is like ultimate, is infinite. We have a whole different nature.
Right, but just the fact that you have to use that as a tool to interact with it, it means that you have that you're limited to by worldly confines, and
But
you
that's the
also
only thing. No, okay,
right,
we're always going to be confined by. We always going to be
right,
okay.
right.
We always
You
going to be
have
confined
that,
by.
right,
Wait. I'm gonna take this. We're always gonna be confined by our condition as a creature. There's nothing that could. There's no way we could ever transcend our condition as a creature.
right, right,
There's only one view of God,
right.
and that is
Well,
Creator.
all right. I don't know. I don't get it, but then yeah, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, it's a singular view of the Creator. He's the Creator.
All right. Um.
Where
Okay.
do we leave off?
So all right. So as I just want to read back. I'm gonna start by the whole thing because it's a long sentence. So I want to kind of read through it again. As stressed before, the absolute is the essence, transcending the names and qualities which are assumed by it in its relationship with the world. Transcending these names and qualities implies transcending those personal dimensions of God precisely, or which precisely are designated by the names and qualities. Personal dimensions of God, which are designated by, yeah, so it's just the labels that you call it. In this way, the Islamic synthesis between the two conceptions of God can be seen as analogous to the Mahayana Hinayana polarity within Buddhism. For the personal and suprapersonal aspects of Allah, comprising all the qualities designated by all of the divine names, are in perfect harmony and perfect synchronicity. Personal and suprapersonal aspects.
Hello, yeah. That's the issue. It's not a synchronicity. He by doing that, he's making Islam as a dualism, and Islam is not a dualism.
No, he's talking about personal and suprapersonal aspects. Yeah, personal and
God does not
suprapersonal
have
aspects.
personal, super personal aspects. He only has aspects. There's no different natures to his aspects.
What do you mean? There's personal aspects and then there's superpersonal aspects.
What's the super personal aspect of God?
That he created the universe.
That's not super personal. That's personal. He's the creator. He has a name for that.
Yeah, but
Al Khalik or Al Bari.
people can't do that. That's not
Yes, but it's
something a
not.
person can
But
do.
his personal is not okay. You're trying to say anthropomorphism. No, we're not anthropomorphic.
I don't even.
Personality, God is not anthropomorphic because his personality has nothing to do with the personality of creatures.
But I'm saying like God can do stuff that humans can do, and then He can do stuff that we can't do.
That's God. Oh my!
That's how I'm looking at it.
I know, but you're looking at it. You're not looking at it from an Islamic perspective at all. You're looking at it from anthropomorphic, and we're looking at it, no. He's the ultimate personhood of ultimate consciousness that created all creatures. He's the ultimate. He's the ultimate cause, and we give him a persona because he's an intelligence. He's sentient like us. He's one sentience. He's one sentience. He's one absolute sentience.
So you're saying that it
He's not what we
is
communicate.
encompasses both of those as one. Like the personal and the super personal is one. It's just all
Yes,
together. All right.
yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly
Okay.
what I'm saying. Yes, thank you. That's what I'm saying. That's Tawheed. And he's trying to separate these things. These things should not be separated. It's just Tawheed.
Mhm. Okay. There's no contradiction between asserting, on the one hand, that the essence of God infinitely transcends all conceivable personal qualities, and on the other, that God assumes these personal qualities for the sake of entering into compassionate, enlightening, and saving relationship with his creatures.
No, see, I don't think God does that. See, He has a relationship. That relationship is His very nature. That's his very nature. He doesn't have to do nothing to have that relationship. You understand?
mm,
He doesn't have to go into no names. I'm not saying those names are those names are just gifts to us to lead us to contemplate his essence, the essence of his very nature. But those names are not him. They're just names. They're just the names are not him at all. The names are not him. The names are for us, but then they're not him. They're not. And it's not our conception of him. We know names are just tools, but it's not our conception of him. Not two different conceptions.
hmm,
He was, yeah, that's my issue with it. It's dualism. What he's speaking out, and Islam is not dualistic.
hmm. Okay. Um, this Islamic synthesis can help to show that what has been called Mahayana theism in no way compromises early Buddhism's insistence on the transcendence of the Dhamma, Nirvana, Shunya, vis a vis all conceivable qualities.
Yeah, you see, he's trying to make Islam look Buddhist.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I hear you. But I mean, from the outside looking in, I can understand that, you know?
Yeah, yeah. For the outside looking in, but then she's saying he's telling you that he's not a Muslim, or he
Right.
doesn't think, or he doesn't think that the Islamic view of Islam should be the standard. Like that the Islamic view of itself should be the standard of what Islam is, not from outside. Islam should not set the standard for what Islam is. Islam should have his own self determinant. Should have his own self determination.
Should
And
have
he's doing
its own
comparative study.
self.
If he's doing a comparative study, he should do the comparative studies by their own self determinations and not trying to self determine it to make them sound the same according to what you're trying to prove.
Hmm. Okay. Um. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but yeah, I could see it. I could see it. All right. Um, oneness and compassion. Islam also helps to answer the question which might be posed to a Buddhist: what is the connection between the metaphysics of unity, in terms of which there appears to be no other, no dualism, samsara, and nirvana being one, and the quality of compassion, which logically presupposes both an agent and a recipient of compassion, thus a duality? Or it might be asked, is there a contradiction between the absolute transcendence of reality and the compassionate manifestation of this reality? We would answer in terms of Islamic metaphysics that the oneness of reality strictly implies compassion. For the oneness of God is not simply exclusive, it is also inclusive. It is both ahad and wahid. It is both transcendent and immanent. As al wahid, in all inclusive oneness, God encompasses all things. When such divine names as Al Wasi, the infinitely capacious, and Al Muhit, the all encompassing, now it is from this all embracing dimension of divine reality that compassion springs. For it is not just as being or knowledge, presence or immanence that God encompasses all, it is also Rahmah. My Rahmah encompasses all things, as we saw above. The angels indeed give priority to God's Rahmah over his knowledge. ilm when addressing him as the one who encompasses all things. You encompass all things in Ramah and ilm 40 verse 7. What you think about that? Good. It,
Hold on for a second. Yeah, no, I don't think it's good at all. No, no. I'm gonna say
so
the last part you messed up because why would he say the is putting Rahma over M? Just because one is put first in one line of the Quran doesn't mean one quality is above another. Like you understand? That's just the way it's written at a time. It might be written in a different order another time. That doesn't indicate which one is more important.
it
That's all
said
I'm
the
saying.
angels indeed give priority to God's Ramah over his knowledge. When addressing him as the one who encompasses all things, you encompass all things in Ramah and Ilm. Yeah, I don't think that's like ranking. That's just listing.
But that's what he's saying. But he's saying his ranking because they give him priority.
Yeah, it's weird. That's weird.
That's something that's wrong. It's not for giving priority. By saying you give him priority, saying you ranking is not ranking. He's just listing. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's strange. I don't know.
It's not strange. It's an error. That's an error. That's an error right there. That's an error.
Mm.
That's an unforced error because that doesn't prove that point. That is not listing those two attributes does not prove that point at all. That it gives one attribute priority over another. His exact words priority. I can't. That's not
Yeah,
good.
it's strange. It's like
And
I don't know why that's like ranking. Why he's ranking them? It's just a list.
because
He's
she's trying to make a
reaching.
fake point. He's trying to make a fake point. That's why. That which how you know how you mean you don't know. You already know. He tries to make fake points. He does try to make he reaches. You already, okay. Don't get me wrong. He does. As the book has progressed, he's reaching less, but he still throws in some crazy reaches.
Yeah.
He just tried to say what? Cause what? I mean, what? That was out of nowhere. That reach.
Let's see
He
where
didn't.
if there's any like point to it. So it still might be objected. God is certainly merciful, but he should not be called compassionate as he does not suffer with any creature.
Rock. Nah. I see. I don't understand that.
Is there a compassionate word?
I mean, nah. I mean, I don't know the
Mercy, it will be argued, is more appropriate word by which to translate Rahmah.
Okay, so what would be compassion? Okay, so what is the thing? So what is he trying to say then? can I be called compassionate? Okay, okay then. Okay, okay.
All
Oh,
right.
he just. Is he unnecessary? What do you? Is he unnecessary? Oh well, let's keep going. Cause
One may
he could just said mercy. He could just said mercy. A good translation. Quran could be translated as mercy and give the reason why Quran could be. Rahman could be translated mercy. But why did he put need to put the compassionate part?
mm, well, because they're talking about compassion, right? The section is called compassion, right? I think. So, all right. Well, one
Okay,
may
okay.
reply as follows. Insofar as compassion is a human virtue, it cannot but be rooted in a divine quality. It is this divine quality of Rahmah which serves as the transcendent archetype of the human virtue of compassion.
Okay. Okay.
Transcendent
That
archetype.
that's true because see Rahma, right? Compassion between people is called tarahum. Tarahum.
Mhm.
And but the root word of tarahum is Rahma. Mercy. Mercy the root word of the and is also ram. It's just like wombs. Wombs. Like a womb is also part of the same root word. Wombs and if you put Rahma it becomes mercy. It's related to wombs. Uterus.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. Um,
etymologically speaking. Yep.
so the relationship between this divine quality and its human reflection is characterized by two apparently contradictory principles: similarity, tashbih, tashbih, and comparability,
Is
tanzih.
tasbih. It'd be yeah, tasbih and and
Comparability.
no, it'd be
So
tashbih.
same and opposite.
Tashbih and a tanzi. Tashbih and tanzi.
Okay. Thus, in respect of tashbih, Gas- God, as the compassionate, can metaphorically be said to manifest sympathy for us in our suffering, and it is out of this compassion or sympathy that He graciously lifts us out of our suffering. However, this conception needs its complement, the point of view deriving from the principle of tanzi, inasmuch as the quality designated by the compassionate has no self subsistent essence. Self subsistent. That means to stop, right? So to stop yourself,
No,
subsist.
subsistent means it holds itself up. Subsistent, it can it can support it, something that can support itself.
Mm.
Let's start from the beginning. There. Let's start from okay. Has B. Okay. 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 As attached B, God, the compassionate, can be metaphorically can be metaphorically be said to manifest sympathy for us in our suffering, and it is out of His compassion or sympathy that He graciously gives lifts us out of suffering. So he did see, and that's what's messing up because first he just said that God cannot have compassion, but then he's talking about so we mercy.
Yeah,
How come
and
how come
metaphorically
he
can
use
be
mercy?
compassion.
Then why can't you say mercy? Like he just trying to make some extra complicated, trying to make some. It's almost like he's trying to make the point more complicated to say he made a point.
Mm.
You understand?
Yeah, it's strange. Thanks, Victor. Big up. Thank you for coming through.
Yeah. Oh, hey, let me see everybody came through. Let me say hi to let me everybody. Hi everybody. Hey Carter. Hey, the audio good. Thanks Carter. Neon Amadeus. Hey, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Hey, a purple pill effect. Yep. And Perry Taylor. Yep. That's everybody. Okay. Did anybody have any questions? Pay no attention to man behind the curtain. Your mic is really low, Jen. Can barely hear. That's a minute ago. So I can hear now. And she don't always talk loud necessarily, but yeah. But okay. That's it. Ain't nobody got no more questions. Let's go.
Okay. Um, where is it? Okay, so however, this conception needs its complement, the point of view deriving from the principle of tanzi, inasmuch as a quality designated by the compassionate has no self subsistent essence, but s- subsists. s- this is
It's solely through. Must exist solely through the
self-subsistent
essence as
essence that
such.
subsists solely through the essence as such. That's like a seashells on the seashore type thing.
The
They could,
compassion has no self-subsistent essence. Okay, because we read this part already, but I'll read it again. Read this part because we had gone to the end of this thing, but I gone back to read it because so so you can hear it yourself. Okay, the compassionate has no self-subsistent essence, but subsists solely through the essence as such. It cannot possibly be. Oh, it cannot possibly subject to any relativity. The inner dimension of this divine quality must perforce transcend the sphere within which suffering and other such relativities are situated, falling which it would be a transcendent quality, that is, one that is rooted in the utter transcendence of the divine essence.
Yeah, that's a.
That's just he's almost like he's talking mumbo jumbo. I mean, he's sort of saying something, but he's almost like he just trying to. Cause look, hold on, the compassion has no self subsistence, but subsists solely through the essence as such. Like that doesn't make any type of sense.
That's what I'm
He's trying to
saying.
So
separate
as
them.
no self
Because the
subsistence,
problem is
but
he's trying to
subsists solely
separate.
through the
He's trying
essence
to
as.
make some type of dualism in Islam that's somehow synchronized. And no, there's no dualism and synchronized. It's a singular God. He's a singular God to begin with. He's singular God, singular person, singular essence. He's totally singular in everything about him. And that's why this trying to split the view of God from the nature of God and all these things is not working. Or saying there's two essences, two conceptions of God. It's not two conceptions at all.
Hmm. Yeah, all right. So the inner dimension of this divine quality must preference no, must prefers
For fourth, for
perf
fourth, like fourth, for
perforce
per fourth, per fourth.
tr- transcend the sphere within which suffering and other such relatives are situated, failing which it would not be a transcendent quality, that is, one that is rooted in the utter transcendence of the divine essence. I feel like you said like a whole bunch of nothing here. The inner
Yeah,
dimension of this divine quality must preface transcend. What does that even mean? Preface
it
transcend.
was per force, per is like force, like by force,
Perforce.
like by force,
Oh, must
by force.
perforce
Yes, per
transcend.
force.
So, like, force transcend the sphere within which suffering and other such relativities are situated,
Like he just saying stuff now.
failing which it would not be, failing which it would not be a transcendent quality.
It's almost like this is transcendent creator. He's trying to say so many ways that the transcendent the divine essence is transcendent. It's like why he trying to all you had to say is the divine essence is transcendent. You trying to he made such a complicated way of saying that the divine essence is transcendent.
Right. There's like no reason for half of those words. And the grammar, like am I bugging? But like it's not flowing. Such relativities are situated, failing, which it would not be see, like that's weird. I don't understand that. Failing, which it would not be anyway, whatever. I'm just gonna act
No,
like it didn't
he's
happen.
he's overdoing it. I mean, because he came into it wrong. He came into it wrong. That's the reason why he came into
Yeah.
it wrong by trying to split trying to split the Islamic trying to split the Islamic conception of God. That's so he came into it wrong. That's why he because I mean don't get me wrong. I mean he has good delivery. His delivery's not that bad for the weight of what he's doing because that's how okay a weighty work is going to sound kind of like that. You know what I'm trying to say? It's not going to sound. I mean, don't get me wrong. If okay, you're right in the way it sounds because that's why it sounds choppier than what it is because he came into it wrong. But if he would have came into the right, he could have delivered it. He could have delivered it right if he came into the right. But he came into the wrong by trying to this whole trying to split God thing messed him up. And he shot and he could tell he has skills trying to fix it. But I mean, you can't really fix something like you came in wrong on. Unless you just backtrack the whole way or something.
Yeah, I think I noticed when he tries to make like crazy reaches, he clutters it with a ton of words that like just don't like he does too much. So yeah, all right.
Yep,
So
yep,
I'm just
yep, yep, yep. We're saying the same thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So conversely, on the human plane, compassion as rahma is evidently a virtue which one must acquire and cultivate. It must therefore be present in God. Failing which our human quality of compassion would lack any divine principle. Compassion would then be a human effect without a divine cause. This is made clear in the prophetic saying on the Rahmah of the mother for her child. Human compassion is akin to the compassion of God for all creatures, except that divine compassion is absolute and infinite, while human compassion is relative and finite. The essence of the quality is one and the same, only its ontological intensity or mode of manifestation is subject to gradation.
Gradation, yeah. He's not being too bad because it's too. I mean, you want to say that the way God manifests, Rahma is different than the way humans manifested, but even the way creatures manifested is rooted in the way God manifested it to creatures. That's basically what he's saying. So, he didn't mess up too much on that paragraph from Islamic standpoint. I'm gonna let it rock. It was decent. It was decent. There's no glaring issues. Now it was decent for him. For him, it was decent.
Okay.
Do you
Yeah,
understand it?
yeah,
You
yeah.
understand it?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, come on, man. We're not gonna do this trolling in the and smack talking in the chat, man. Like, please,
Who's calling
I'm
chat
not trying
talking?
to do it.
Oh, I'm about to go look who's in the chat. Who's in the chat? Who's doing this?
Yeah, I'm not doing this tonight,
Oh,
man.
Lived it is there. Lived it.
Yeah, I'm like, let's
Oh
just
my God, lived it.
like, come on,
Man,
man. Let's just. There's other places, you know. This isn't the place. I'm not trying to be on that, man. So let's try to move past this, man. All right. The aspect of transcendence proper to God implies that this attribute, when ascribed to God, has an I just read that finite uh, has an absolute and infinite quality in contrast to the relative finite participation in that quality by human beings. He just said the same thing. In the in the human context then, compassion manifests two things. A virtue whose essence is divine on the one hand, and the human capacity to suffer on the other. In the divine context, the transcendent source of human compassion is affirmed, but the susceptibility to suffering which accompanies the human condition is totally absent. As between the human virtue and the divine quality, or simply between the human and the divine, there is both essential continuity and existential discontinuity, analogical participation and ontological distinction, tasbih and tanzi. Another way of resolving the apparent contradiction between divine compassion and divine unity is provided by Al Ghazali. If compassion be understood as a mode of love, then one can reformulate the question and ask whether it's possible to ascribe love to God. Can God be susceptible to desire for his creatures when he possesses perfectly and infinitely all that he could possibly desire?
yeah.
Can the absolute desire the relative? Hmm. And
and absolute desire the
absolute
relative.
desire the relative. Yeah.
Yes, he can because he desired to make the world.
Yeah, so he has desires.
So I mean, let's keep going. But see, even before that, he was he made one good paragraph. No, he made like yeah, he made that one all right one. And then he just goes on to it just goes on to just it's just he's not making good strong points right now. And he's using Ghazali, but Ghazali's not helping the case that much, right?
Nah, he's waffling.
He's messing it up, yeah, messing up this case. Look, I mean, he messed up his case. He messed up his whole case. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say this case is messed up. But anyway, let's keep reading.
Um, Al-Ghazali addresses this question first in theological mode and then in terms of metaphysics of oneness from the point of view of Marifa. One can legitimately apply the same word, love, mahaba, both to man and to God, but the meaning of the word changes depending on agent of love. Human love is defined as an inclination, male, of the or mile of the soul towards that which is in harmony with it. Beauty both outward and inward, seeking from another's soul the consummation of love. Through this love it attains completeness, a mode of perfection which cannot be attained within itself. Such love, Al Ghazali asserts, cannot be ascribed to God, in whom all perfections are infinitely and absolutely realized. However, one can say that God loves his creatures from a higher metaphysical point of view. God's love is absolutely real, but his love is not for any other being or entity. Rather,
What?
mhm,
What the hell? It's making no sense whatsoever. He's trying to prove that the creator, as the creator, cannot love his creature. That doesn't make any. That's against all of Islam. You don't make any type of sense right now.
no, his love is not for any other being or entity. Rather, it is for
Okay,
himself,
his love.
for his own essence, qualities, and acts, this constituting the entirety of being. Hence, when the Quran asserts that
He's jumbling the point. He's all jumbled. He's jumbling everything he's saying. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's just. Okay, keep going.
so this is strange. So when the Quran asserts that he loves them in 5 verse 54, this means that God does indeed love them, all human souls. But in reality, he loves nothing other than himself in the sense that he is the totality of being, and there is nothing in
That's
being
wrong.
apart from him.
That's kufr.
Woo!
That's that awajud. The unity of existence. That's kufr.
Citing the saying of
You think that's what I
Sheikh
say about being
Said
because
Al
being
Mahini.
is not the same as all being because some beings are not him. There's creation and creation exists. All right, let's go. Let's go.
So that's like everything is God type view then, right?
Yeah, he's saying pantheism
Yeah, yeah.
or pantheism. That's not Islamic. That's not the true transcendent God. Because how can he be transcendent but everything be him and he transcendent but everything is him? He's not separating the nature of the creature from the creator. And that's kufr. But then again, It should be expected coming from a Sunni view or a Shia view or a view outside of Halak or Istakama.
Hmm. Okay. Well, Al Ghazali demonstrates that God is the entirety of being by reference to the holy utterance cited earlier. My slave draws near to me through nothing I love more than that which I've made obligatory for him. My slave never ceases to draw near to me through supererogatory acts until I love him. And when I love him, I am his hearing by which he hears, his sight by which he sees, his hand by which he grasps, and his foot by which he walks. Mm. So,
That does not mean that he's part of the creation. Just because we describe God in those ways does not mean that he's part of the creation. He's doing anthropomorphism and he's doing pantheism.
but is that saying in the Quran? Is this in the Quran? This saying right
I,
here?
I don't even know. He didn't cite where he put it. He didn't cite where he put it. But even if it is, it's not wrong with the saying. It's wrong with his interpretation. The saying is not actually the problem. Is the interpretation. He's trying to say it's pan. He's trying to interpret it as pantheism and anthropomorphism. And if you're a Muslim, you never even try to interpret the Islamic. If it's even that, it's not, I mean, his standpoint is wrong. He's clearly coming at the issue from a standpoint of pantheism and anthropomorphism, and he should attribute those standpoints to Islam. As to be a Muslim writer and do that is disloyalty to Islam. Even if you were to even if you were to comment how these things are, you step outside of it and look at it and say it has been said to be said this, but I try to say that's really how Islam is because that's not even standard of Islam. Islam deserves its own self determination.
The performance of more work than duty requires. All right. So when I love him, I am his hearing by which he hears, his sight by which he sees, his hand by which he grasps, and his foot by which he walks. So God is saying that
He'll be with you in every way. He'll be with you in every way. He wants you to draw close to him.
or is he saying
Um,
that you can't do those things without him?
He's saying He's saying he wants us to be of the muqarrabat, the ones the ones who come near. So no, he's not saying you can't do that. He's just trying to say that if you're near to him, he'll be everything for you. You have super. I mean you'll have the total bliss of his presence in your life in every single thing you do. Because you can okay, first of all, you can't do nothing without him anyway. You're realizing, okay, nobody could do anything without him regardless. And he just gifting you with realization of that fact, which is a blessing.
So this isn't literal then. This is at
Of course not. How can it be literal? For it to be literal, it'll be anthropomorphism. That's not Islamic.
mm, okay. All right. Um it is the saint, the Wali Allah, literally friend of God, who comes to understand the reality that God alone is, that there is no reality but the divine reality. And this understanding comes through effacement, fana, in that reality. And this, in turn, is the function of God's love. My slave never ceases to draw near until I love him. It is from this divine love that the saint comes to see that God loves all creatures and that the reality of this love is constituted by God's infinite love of himself.
Okay,
That's
but
not
that doesn't.
true.
Oh, wait. Yeah, yeah. Because it's the point is, the point is, the point is, he does not need to. The point is, where he's messing up is this. He's trying to say, that who comes to understand the reality that God alone is, that there is no reality but the divine reality. I mean, there's no truth except truth. If that's what you're gonna say, hold on. Yeah, you're trying to say there's no truth except truth, right? And this understanding comes from a face. There's no truth except truth in that reality, and this in turn draws the function of God's love. My slave never draws near. My slave never ceases to draw near until I love him. Until I love him, I don't get. I don't. He has to get where he's quoting this from. He's quoting from Al Ghazali. He's not quoting from. I don't know if he's quoting from the Prophet, but he's quoting from a Sufi scripture. I think he's quoting from Al Ghazali, but it is from this divine love that the saints come to see that God loves all creatures, and that the reality of this love is constituted by God's infinite love of Himself. I mean, that's an assertion that I don't. The source that he's not. I don't think he's getting it from. Even look at the footnotes. He's getting these. He's getting this from. He's taking some things out of the Quran. That he loves them, but he's taking. But even that he's even that it just quotes, it's quotes of quotes. You know what I'm saying? He's citing citations of the Quran in other works, like Al Ghazali Al Ghazali is here citing the sayings of Sheikh Said al Said al Mahini from his book. I'm sorry, from his book, the love. This is from the book of love and longing and intimacy and contentment in his Iha book, in his Iha. That means something about life's book in book 6, part 4, volume 5, page 221. So what's going on is yeah, so he's trying to make a point, but he's not making the strongest evidence to make a point, and is like, his point is not necessarily Islamic. Is from a particular scholar, and it's more like Sunni Sufi-ish type of way of expressing things. So I mean it's it's not, but then again, it's not. Uh Never does clear divine love that comes through all creatures, and the divine love constituted by God of love Himself. So yeah, so love of Himself. I mean, this love is. I mean, is not pressed. Okay, okay. This love is not pressed. Is not pressed. Is not. This. Okay. This love is expressed not just by the term mahaba, but also rakma, encompassing all things. Yeah, but it's almost like he's trying to say his love for himself encompasses all things that he acts. I mean, I mean, he's not using strong evidences, but he's not. He's not. The point he's making does make sense, though.
Hmm. The part I
He,
was saying
and
that wasn't true was this one. He loves all creatures when he doesn't.
oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yep.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Because he doesn't. He doesn't love the. He doesn't love the. He doesn't love the people of hellfire. And his wrath is real.
Yep.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Yep. 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 Yep.
So
You're right.
yeah,
You're right.
it's
Because
not
because
really
the
about
hellfire is
love.
real.
Like I feel like all this love stuff, like he's like kind of like I don't know, trying to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
s-
Hey, you caught that. That was a good catch. That was a great catch, Jen.
Yeah.
That's because I was trying to see where it was messing up, but like, I couldn't put my finger on where it was messing up. But and I didn't even see that. But that was in, and it shows what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
And by and it shows that he's trying to conflate. He's trying to find a way to conflate creature and creator, and try to still make it Islamic in certain ways. You understand?
Yep.
And I know, even though this paragraph he didn't mess up like that much outside, but what you found that was his giveaway. He told on himself. You know what I'm saying? He told on himself with that. You know what I'm saying? He told on
Yeah,
himself.
yeah, like he's
He
just
told
BSing. Like he's trying to paint a rainbow, like
him.
butterflies and
Yeah.
rainbows, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, he told on himself. He told on himself with that one.
yeah.
Because cause outside of that, he still would have had a benefit of doubt outside of that, but he just told on himself.
Right, right. Yeah. Hey, give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Sorry. Just check
That's
my.
fine. That's fine.
Sorry.
Everybody, what's up? I'm gonna look at the chat. See what's going on in chat. Chat away, y'all. Tell you what's going on. That chat reeks of coconuts. What kind of stupid thing is that? Lived it. How did it reek of coconut? And I actually like coconuts. Let's see. What's the good question? Okay, y'all. But yeah, what's good, y'all? Thanks for watching us. Jen's gonna be back in a second. No. Yep.
All right. Just had to make sure they shut it down. Bedtime.
Yep. Yep.
All right. It may appear at first sight that such metaphysical and cosmic dimensions of compassion in Islam can only compared with similar dimensions with Mahayana Buddhism. The Theravada teachings on compassion seem to be more psychological and individual than cosmic and universal. For example, reading the following text, one might think that compassion is exhausted by one dimension only, the compassion inherent in the teaching of the Dhamma. I will teach you, brethren, the uncompounded and the way going to the uncompounded. Now, what, brethren, is the uncompounded? The destruction of lust, of hatred, of delusion, brethren, is called the uncompounded. And what, brethren, is the way going to the uncompounded? It is mindfulness relating to the sphere of the body that is so called. Thus, brethren, I have shown you the uncompounded in the way going to it. Whatever can be done by a teacher desirous of the welfare of his disciples, out of compassion for them, that I have done for you, brethren. I want to see what the source is. Samyutta Nikaya. See, he never calls anyone brethren. Like, he says bhikkhus or mendicants or the group
Yep.
discourses. He doesn't ever call anyone brethren. That's weird. That's why I'm like, 4 359. I don't even know. I don't know. Another freaking thing I can't
You
find,
can't
but
find it?
yeah, I don't know. I have to look for it. The numbering is gonna be different though, depending on what book he's looking for. But for like verse 359, our stuff isn't even broken down like by verse like that and cited in some Buddhist sayings. So that's not. I don't know. Okay, anyway. But this dimension should not be seen only as the ultimate, pedagogical form taken by compassion, and it does not exclude, still less deny, the cosmic and universal dimensions of compassion. For example, also in the Pali Canon, we find such passages as the following: May all beings be at ease, secure. May they be happy in heart. Whosoever is a breathing being, stable or unstable, without exception, long or those who are large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, distant or near, beings or those yet to be born, may they all be happy in heart. I think that's the metta. Here one observes that the moral quality of compassion is to be extended to all beings without exception and surpasses, there's that word again, pedagogical or psychological or individual modalities.
Do do you know what pedagogical means?
I forgot. I know we looked it up last time, but I forgot.
No, no, it means teaching. It means intended to teach.
Okay.
Intended to teach, like pedagogy. That means
Mm,
it's a system of teaching. That's pedagogical. Yep.
okay. Here we find a resonance with Islam, for if God's rahmah encompasses all, if His grace is bestowed on both those who reject Him and accept Him, right? That's not correct, is it? The Muslim,
No,
like,
no.
right? The Muslim likewise must reflect this divine quality and be compassionately predisposed to all beings. One must possess, in other words, a compassionate prejudice, which is one application of a principle of interpersonal relations very strongly emphasized in the corpus of prophetic sayings. One must always have as an a priori disposition towards one's fellow beings, a good opinion, husn al zan, rather than its opposite, su al zan, suspicion.
I mean,
Likewise,
I mean, I mean, the last part is not too bad, but then what are you trying to say before? For encompasses all if His grace bestowed of His state is bestowed on both those who He rejects and those who accept. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
He bestows grace on everybody, but if you reject His grace, you get His mercy. So kind of. But then even that is only by His will. So it's like He's cursed you anyway. So it's like it's like even the people cursed get some benefit in this world. That's true though, because even the people cursed get some benefit in this world.
mm,
So it gives everybody something,
okay.
even the cursed. So yeah, He does have all encompassing mercy in that sense.
Likewise, from the Pali Canon, we find this expression of the all encompassing nature of compassion, making the whole world of beings the object of these minds endowed with compassion. We will continue to relate to the whole world with minds that are like the earth, untroubled, free from enmity, vast, enlarged, and measureless, apamana. Similarly, the Buddha taught his followers to cultivate compassion so they can come to resemble space which cannot be painted or the Ganges which cannot be burned. The, the Buddha defined liberation of mind quite simply as compassion, Anguttara Nikaya 1 to 4. It is interesting to read the traditional commentary on this Manaratha Purni. The liberation of the mind is love and compassion. It is compassion as it relates to all sentient beings with the wish for their welfare. Since the mind conjoined with compassion is liberated from all adverse factors such as the hindrances, nivarana, sense desire, anger, agitation, laziness, and doubt, and so forth, it is called a liberation of the mind. What is he talking about? Cited in compassion and Buddhism. He's getting these verses from some book, so that's why they're versed weird. They're not versed like that in the canon.
Mm.
Okay. This universal compassion is referred to. Wait, did I just skip something? Yeah. Okay, so here we see that the compassion is not just expressed by the teacher enlightening his disciple, it is here seen to be a factor disposing one to enlightenment, thus, a subjective condition for engaging with the meditative means of enlightenment rather than only an objective transmission of those means of enlightenment. So, before being capable of eliminating one's own suffering through enlightenment, one has to feel compassion for the suffering of all others. Mm. This universal compassion is referred to by the Buddha as the soil within which concentration is to be cultivated. But it is also the fruit of enlightenment, for even when full enlightenment is attained, this meditative compassion for all is permanently maintained as a feature of the mind of the enlightened one. Okay, I guess I can understand that. I still would love to find the source.
Yeah, I mean, his sources there is 40 sources. Okay, is the Anguttara Nikaya?
It's like a
I mean,
collection. Like it's like these are collections. Like there's a lot of like all of this. I think that's the further factor discord. Like see, fourth division consists of several thousand suttas arranged in 11 books according to numerical content. So this is the book of Numbers. So within the Anguttara Nikaya are thousands of freaking sutras. Excuse my language, I shouldn't say it. So it's like the it consists of nipatas. So there's different books. The first one's like the book of ones, the book of twos. Um, yeah, there's just so there's book of threes, book of fours, book of fives. First glance, it may seem rather pedantic classification scheme. But yeah, it's so the Anguttara Nikaya is like immense, numerical
okay.
discourses. You could get 333 of them free from charge from the Metaphorist Monastery. It's pretty cool. Um, so what do you say? 1.4?
Okay, what the
1.4. Let's see if this works. So it's 121 through 40.
what you? Okay,
Book of
what you talking about
Wands. I'm trying to find this one source, right? Define the
now?
liberation of the mind quite simply as compassion. So that's an Anagarta, Nikaya 1 and 4. So start at 21. See, there is no 1.4. Anyway, that's why, like, I don't know, I'm really bad at finding these sources. So, this universe, oh, I read that. To be cultivated is, okay, Rama as creator.
Yeah,
So,
Rakma,
R-
Rakma's creator. Yep.
Rahma. Turning now to another aspect of compassion, that of its creative power, we see again that what is left implicit in early Buddhism is rendered altogether explicit both in Islam and in such Mahayana traditions as Jodo Shin. In both traditions, the Creator is nothing other than the all compassionate or the all loving. But whereas this conception is enshrined in the very heart of the Quran, it emerges in Buddhism only in certain Mahayana traditions. So, as was noted above, the Muslim consecrates every important action with the utterance of the basmala, the phrase Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the lovingly compassionate, lovingly merciful. This formula also initiates each of the 114 chapters of the Quran except one. It is altogether
Yeah,
appropriate.
yeah. Except one, the one that it doesn't initiate. It's called Tauba or Bara. That's the ninth surah. He doesn't start the ninth surah. You don't say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You just go into it. You say Udu bin Rajim. Before you say that one, you don't say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in Tauba or Bara. Yep, that's the one. Because Tauba means repentance, or means like turning into God again. Turning inward to God, and then Bara means immunity, and it's like it means to disassociate to immunity, like it means dissociate from the kufar, and then
Hmm.
and it also means immunity from the hellfire.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right. Um, this formula also initiates. Okay, it is altogether appropriate that all ritual and significant action be initiated with a recollection of the compassionate source of creation. In terms of the two divine names deriving from the root of Rahma, the first, Al Rahman, is normally used to refer to the creative power of Rahma, and the second, Al Rahim, to its salvific power. Combining these two properties of loving compassion, the creative and the redemptive, one sees that ultimately nothing can escape or be separated from God's all embracing Rahmah. This is why calling upon Al Rahman is tantamount to calling upon God. Call upon Allah or call upon Al Rahman 17 verse 110.
yeah, yeah. But he says combining these two. Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah. Because then again, even the curse do get something, so everybody gets Rockman. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, okay then. Okay, I'm gonna let it rock.
If Al Rahman is so completely identified with the very substance of God, then it follows that the Rahma, which so quintessentially defines the divine nature, is simply is not simply mercy or compassion, but is rather the infinite love and perfect beatitude of ultimate reality, which overthrows into creation in the myriad forms assumed by mercy and compassion, peace and love.
That could be true if it was Al Rahman and it was that specific attribute of God the way it is. But he could say that's what the internal is, but it's like it's like he would have to make it clear like that's the rendering of it, but is that rendering of it is not really bad because it is from the root word of but we say Ar-Rahman Rahim. That's names we use. But if you were to say the essence of, if you feel the essence of God is Rahman by your interpretation, I wouldn't see the problem with it. But it's not like but it's kind of like the way he tries to make it. It's like the Rahman, which so questions divine nature, simply mercy, but it's rather the infinite love and beatitude which overflows into creation by myriad forms by mercy, compassion, peace. Okay, hold on. Then the Rahman. So wait, okay, so wait. So call Rahman is tantamount to call upon God. Call Rahman Rahim. If Ar-Rahman is so completely identified with the very substance of God, follows that Rahman, which is the quintessential, which is so quintessentially defines the nature, um, the divine nature is not simply mercy or compassion, but is rather the infinite love and perfect beatitude of ultimate reality, which overflows into creation in myriad of forms assumed by mercy, compassion, peace, and love. Uh, I mean, I'm gonna let it rock. I'm gonna let it rock. I'm gonna let it rock. Hear me?
Yeah, okay. All right. I was just trying to see if this one did 181 to 184. So, what is it? 181 to 84. Let's look at our.
Hey,
Yeah, it doesn't
hey
even
Wolf.
say the same thing. All right.
Hey Wolf. Hey
Sorry.
Johnny John.
Hey, big up, guys. Big up. Okay. Brahma is thus to be understood primarily in terms of a love which gives of itself. What it gives is what it is. What if? Oh, what it gives is what it is. Okay. Transcendent beatitude, which creates out of love and upon contact with its creation, assumes the nature of loving compassion and mercy. These being the dominant motifs of the relationship between God and the world. As was seen above, God's transcendent Rahmah is alluded to by the Prophet in terms of the most striking expression of Rahmah on earth, that expressed by a mother who, after searching frantically for her baby, clutches it to her breast and feeds it. As was cited above, call upon Allah or call upon Al Rahman, whichever you call upon, unto him belong the most beautiful names. 17 verse 110. It should be noted in this verse that all the names are described as the most beautiful, including, therefore, all the names of rigor as well as those of gentleness. But the most important point to note here is that the name Al Rahman is practically coterminous with the name Allah, indicating the quantity of loving mercy takes us to the very heart of divine nature. In two verses, we're told that Rahmah is written upon the very self of God. He has written mercy upon himself. 6 verse 12. Your Lord has written mercy upon himself. In 654, the word kataba, he wrote, implies a kind of inner prescription, so that rahmah can be understood as a kind of inner law governing the very nafs, the self or essence of God. The use of the image of writing here can be seen as a metaphor for expressing the metaphysical truth that Rahma, as it were, here inscribed within the deepest reality of the divine nature. God's inscription upon himself is thus God's description of himself, of his own deepest nature. The creative aspect of the divine Rahma is vividly brought home in the chapter entitled Al Rahman, Surah 55. It is Al Rahman who taught the Quran, created man, taught him discernment, verses 2 through 4. The whole of this chapter invokes the reality of this quintessential quality of God. The blessings of paradise are described here in the most majestic and attractive terms, but so too are the glories, beauties, and harmonies of God's entire cosmos, including all wonders of virgin nature, these verses being musically punctuated by the refrain, "So which of the favors of your Lord can you deny?"
Fabianiarai, Rabiku Matuk Kadiban. That's how it goes. Fabianiarai, Rabiku Matuk Kadiban. Wait, let me say it perfectly. Let me read it. Hold on. I'm gonna get it. Pull out my Quran to read it so I pronounce everything perfectly. Hold on.
All right.
Hold on. Yeah, it's the frame. Let me go to Surah 55. Hold on. Let me go to gosh, that's Surah 30. It's Surah 30. No, no. It's Surah 30. No, no, yeah, no, yes, Azad. Okay, yeah, 55 is Rahman. That's fine, Rahman. Thinking Azad. Rahman is fine. Rahman. Yeah, it's like this. الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان عمله بيان الشمس وقمر بحسبان ونجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها وضع الميزان أترقى في الميزان وقيموا الوزن بالقسط وبالقسط وتكسروا ميزان وأدى وداها للأنام فيها فقيت ونقل تتو أقمام وعبد أسواريان فبأي فبأي الله ربكما تكذبان. So that's to keep the thing that keeps refraining after that says خلق الإنسان وقال خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من ماجري من نار. Fabialiyala, Rabikuma Tukadiban, and that's what, after it says everything, keep saying, Fabialiyara, Rabikuma Tukadiban. It just means like all the favors of the God would you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you read the whole thing in Arabic?
Yeah, yeah. I can read Arabic.
Oh,
I
wow.
can't, but it's choppy though. It's not. Yeah, it's choppy when I try to do it though. I
Yeah.
can't read it like fluently. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's good though. Like you do
I can't read
good.
it fluently.
You do real good.
Fabialiyara, I can't pronounce. Look at it. I'm gonna say,
It's better than my
Fabialiyara,
Polly.
Rabikuma Tukadiban. What?
Better than my Polly.
Yeah.
All right. In this chapter named after Al Rahman, then we are invited to contemplate the various levels at which Rahma fashions the substance of reality. The Ramah describes the deepest nature of the divine, the Ramah that is musically inscribed to the very recitation of the chapter, the Ramah that creates all things, the Ramah that reveals itself through the Quran and through all the signs, ayat, of nature. One comes to see that God is created not only by God has created not only by Ramah and from Ramah, but also for Ramah, except those upon whom God has mercy, for this did he create them. 11, look at that, 11, 11, 11, 119.
11, 11. Uh-oh.
Yeah, and within Ramah, my Ramah encompasses all things. 7, verse
It's 11,
156.
11, it's 11, 11 right now. You know that, right?
Wow.
It's 11:11 right now. It was
Wow.
11:11. The paper and it's 11:11 the time. Everything's 11:11.
See, that's what I'm telling you, man. That's what I'm telling you. Yeah, yeah.
It's 11:11 right now as we speak.
That's what I'm telling you, bro. This is exactly what I see. Like,
Yeah, hold on for a second. Hold on for a second.
yeah. I was trying to tell him about that 11:11, man. I catch it all the time. Look, like I catch it all the time. It's insane. I wasn't even looking at the clock, right? And I saw
Yeah,
this
the
right
clock is
here.
11:11.
Yeah, I caught that right there in the book, and then he said I looked at the clock, and I'm like, wow, like that's see, that's what it is about that number, man. I catch this number all the time. It's
No, it was right
crazy.
then too. It was 11:11 too when you got the number, and that's the funny thing about
That's
it.
what I'm saying. That's what
I
I'm
caught it with you.
saying.
I caught
Yes.
the number with you and simultaneously with you.
Right, right,
Oh my
right.
god! Hey, so I know it's real because I actually caught it with you.
Mm-hmm.
Caught it
I
straight
wasn't
with
even
you.
looking at the clock. I have the screen up. Like I wasn't even looking at the clock. Yeah, man. Like that's what I'm
11 too.
saying.
Oh my
Yep.
god, this is insane. I caught it too. That's the
Yeah.
monotheism.
The 11:11 is that's what I'm telling you. Like that's the
That means we're doing something good because God,
that's synchronicity.
no, you might not believe in God, but God is trying to give us a sign that we're doing something good.
That's synchronicity right there. I'm telling you.
Yep.
All right. And within Rama, my Rama encompasses all things. 7156. Combining these two properties of loving compassion, the creative and the redemptive, or the ontological and salvific, we see why is that ultimately nothing can escape or be separated from God's all embracing Brahma, which is the divine matrix containing the cosmos. The word matrix should be taken quite literally in relation to its root mother. The word for womb, Rahim, derives from the same root as Rahma. The entire cosmos is not just brought into being by Rahma, it is perpetually encompassed by Rahma, which nourishes it at every instant, as the mother's womb nourishes and encompasses the embryo growing within it. As we saw above, the Tathagata Garbha literally means the womb of the Tathagata, the one thus gone. This womb or matrix not only contains all things, but is also contained within the soul, being one with the immanent Buddha nature or Buddha Dhatu, which each individual must strive to realize. The only objection I have here is soul, because we don't really believe in a soul, but okay, I'm just gonna let it
Okay,
ride. No, I'm doing it.
what?
Yeah, I get it.
What reincarnates? It's not a soul. Your soul doesn't reincarnate. So you
Your
reincarnate without a soul.
consciousness. It's your
So your con
consciousness.
isn't your conscious soul? Okay, soul means like what does it mean? It means like psyche. It means so yeah. What's the difference between your consciousness and your soul? What's the difference between it?
Like the soul is like a ghost that pops out and like gets like brought up or sent down, like that's a soul, which has like your entire like persona in it, like you, like that's literally, I don't know how else to describe it, but like when I think of a soul, it's like a ghost that pops out of your body like when you die, you know?
That's how you think of it, but it's like we come from one soul. We got our soul, but it's like there's like psyche, but it's like soul. But okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. So there's no so your consciousness, but your consciousness have an identity. Did your consciousness have an identity?
Well, it's not you, so no, like it has fragments of your karma attached to it. So like it's not like your consciousness when you get reborn, like you don't remember, like this isn't you that's getting reborn into a different body. It's
This your
traces
karma.
traces
This
of
your
your,
karma.
yeah, it's traces of your consciousness and energy that attaches to, yeah, like your karma's a is
So,
dependent on
so,
your
if- so
karma, dependent on your karma.
so can you just see that? Okay, so what if I was to say that Buddhism is nothing but people feeling energies of their society around them and the environment around them, and they're looking at it as karma. Like what if I was to say some of that? How would I? What would I be missing from a Buddhist? I mean, can a Buddhist necessarily say that's wrong if you're not attached? Like if you detach everything, so you could just say, okay, we're just
No,
vessels.
Buddhism is
Experience.
literally like Buddhism is literally the way to alleviate suffering.
I mean, yeah. So would I be able to say that it's not wrong for me to look at me myself as just an empty vessel that's picking up things from my environment, and I'm calling these things karma, right? And
You don't pick up karma. Like karma's not something you like. You don't catch it like Pokemon. Like
yeah,
it's
but if
not
you catch it
something
from a
you
past life,
sweep
you caught
up.
it. It is because if it's coming from a past life, you caught it. You caught it from a past life. It's communicable. It's
No, I
communicable.
can't pass it to you. Like you can't catch
But you
mine.
can pass it to the next person.
No, I
Okay, so
pass it to it stays with my it stays with this life force, like this energy, like this consciousness
so you only have one life.
in this existence, yeah.
So Buddhism does not believe in reincarnation.
No, or believes in rebirth. There's no permanent soul that transmigrates, like reincarnates as another person, like
Okay, I'm
Sikhis
sorry.
or Hindus. They believe that. Like they believe in
Okay, okay,
like reincarnation
okay.
where God
Oh,
decides your the level of your rebirth. Like, you know?
okay. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out
Yeah, so
because.
that's where he
But what
differed
about the
from
bodhisattvas? What about the bodhisattvas? What about the ones who save you? Are they being reborn? Are their souls being reborn? Or are they being rebirthed or reincarnated? The bodhisattvas?
no, it's just still it's their consciousness, the consciousness of them.
But what you mean the consciousness of them? Like their consciousness is there, so it's just an energy. Their energy is the energy still there?
Bodhisattvas are just like, well, they're like humans, right? That have um made it and come back to help other people. So maybe they're like elevated people. Some people say
So
maybe it was
they
Jesus. Some people say maybe prophets were bodhisattvas. So like maybe extraordinary people, like um I don't know, like it's not an actual um soul, like it's the consciousness of the first lama. It's the
okay, so that consciousness keeps coming back. The consciousness keeps coming back, so
Well,
it's
yeah,
like
like it doesn't extinguish. It's not free from the cycle of rebirth until it is liberated and by nirvana. Then it don't come back no more unless you believe in Mahayana where you could choose to come back as a bodhisattva.
okay. I mean,
That's like
it's
that
it's
31 planes of that's like
it's almost
that
it's
Anand.
almost like, it's almost like okay, it's almost like Buddhism is like so it's a soulless religion. So basically you tell me Buddhism is soulless.
Yeah, you didn't believe in a soul. Yep.
So it's a soulless religion. Okay, it's just
Um.
different. It's different than us. It's different than us. We're very soulful.
Mhm. Mhm.
We're people with soul. We like that soul. Oh man, this is different. It's different. I'm not used to soullessness. Oh, I know soulfulness, and this is it's a difference. It's a difference. All right, let's
So
go.
here we go. Yeah, the lion's roar is always like a, if you ever want to look up like Buddhist like questions or something, like the lion's roar is a trusted kind of website that you could use. So it said, do Buddhists believe in a soul? The short answer is no. In fact, this is the defining premise of Buddhism and one of the main things that differentiates it from other religions. In ancient Hinduism, the soul was called the Atman, and the basic Buddhist view was described as Anatman, no soul. So, or anatta, no self. Like there's no, the soul is considered to be something at our core that's single, independent, and unchanging. So, this isn't just a religious belief. Deep down, we all believe we have a soul. When I feel hurt, I must believe there's a separate me that's being hurt. And in a sense, soul, self, and ego all refer to the same thing. Our belief in a single, or independent, and unchanging me, whether mundane or transcendent. The Buddha said that all phenomena, including us, are conditioned, and all conditioned phenomena are impermanent, right? Like, you get that? So that's like a
I mean,
key. That's
yeah.
key. Like,
Okay, so you're trying to say is that we're conditioned by who we're just conditioned, but who conditions us is not even the issue, right? It's just that we're
basically
conditioned, right?
said, like, anything that has conditions are impermanent.
Okay, right, right. But who makes the conditions?
You mean who makes them? Nobody makes them. They just are.
Yeah, so that's where we always messing up because you have no source. That's why you have no soul to attach to because you have no source. If you understand what I'm trying to say, it's like you don't the soul personalizes the source because it's like it's our connection to the source because he's the permanent and he's given us life. He's made us Adam, one of the soul of Adam. He's given us a soul. It's like it's like we believe in a special favor upon mankind. We believe that we get a soul. It's like a special favor that's of sentient life. And we say it like it's a favor from God. So, but you don't have a God to give you a favor.
So,
You
like,
have no
the
favor.
soul, like, thinking that the soul, right? Like, do you believe the soul is independent of the body?
I don't know. I really don't know.
You would have to believe that it could rise or go to heaven or hell. Like, it would have to come out
Yeah,
of your body
it will come a
and
body, or
exist
maybe your whole
forever.
body could resurrect. I don't know, because some people might say your whole body resurrects. Some people might, oh, you might say your soul. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is that what I'm trying to say is that is not that much of an important issue. The thing. Okay, if I were to say I believe metaphysically your soul could detach from your bodies. Okay, what's wrong with that? So what's wrong with us having that favor from God to have a soul that can detach? That's transcendent of our body. What's wrong with that from having a soul from God as a mercy to us?
Because independent, or nothing else in existence is like that.
I know it's a unique favor. The same way nothing in existence or nothing in creation is like God. The way nothing in creation is like God is the way nothing in creation is like God's favor onto His creatures.
So you're saying that a soul is
A favor,
a favor. So is it,
blessing, a blessing,
no, 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 no.
a vessel.
Is it a part of God?
No, it comes from God. It's a blessing from God. Oh
Is
yeah,
it
it's something of
creation
Himself. Yes,
of God?
everything is a creation of God. It's a creation, but it's something. It's something. Okay, look, this is the way we describe it. He is this is the way the Quran describes, right? That God breathes something of Himself inside of us.
So it's the
Yes,
breath of God.
yes, it's like inspiration, but it stays with you. It's like the Holy Spirit. If your
So
spirit
the
is holy, it's a spirit. Yes, He gives God gives spirituality, gives a soul.
so the breath is that that's not a part of you? Is your breath not a part of
It's
you?
it's part of you, but you have a part of you that God breathed into you.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So like if my breath is part of me, right? And God's
Yeah.
breath is part of him,
Yes.
and God breathes his breath into you,
Yes.
that means you carry the breath of God within you.
Yes, but once you carry it, it becomes a creature. So it's not God's. He give it to you. It's a favor. It's a mercy. It's a gift.
Could he take it back if he want?
Um, if you wanted to, yeah. If you
So
curse,
that
yes.
means it's his and it belongs to him.
Everything belongs to Him. He's the master of everything.
So then how
Of all
could you say
creation,
that everything isn't a piece of him?
everything belongs to Him. But He owns everything. He can take anything back. He owns everything. Because once He creates, it's not Him. Because His nature is different than what He created. Because He's infinite and His creation is finite. It's almost like this. If you have infinity, this the sign, right? And you take away one from infinity, you still have infinity, but you have one. So you created. You could take a million away from infinity, but infinity will still be infinity. But you also have a million. Why? Because infinity stays all is a constant, it never changes.
Right, the infinity doesn't it only like exists conceptually, right? There's nothing infinite.
That's faith in Islam. That's faith in Islam. We believe in the infinite God, and we have faith in that.
Hmm.
With theocentric religion, that's the difference. God
Right,
is in everything we do.
but see, so he's in everything we do. You don't like. I feel like
Yes,
this
the
is
meditation of Him.
contradicting, like
It's not. It's
contradicting.
It's the meditation on Him. His meditation is in everything. Almost okay. Our meditation of Him is in everything we do consciously. It's a meditation. It's a constant meditation. It's muraqabah. I know if Anna was watching, you love it. Muraqabah. I'm gonna give a personal thing to Anna. Hold on. Let me send this joint to.
Pick up and then. So, all right. So he created it. He can take it back if he wants, but it's not him. It's not of him. It's of him, but it's not him. It's of him, but it's not a piece of him. It's the breath of him, but not. Uh,
Hello, hello. Yeah. It's a okay. Everything is of God, but not everything is God. Just because you're of God doesn't mean you are God. I'm of God, but I am not God. I came from Him. It's like this. If you take a million from infinity, you still have infinity. But you have infinity and a million. You have infinity plus a million. That plus a million is creation. Creation is everything short of infinity because you can take everything short of infinity and still have infinity. But you can never take infinity because if you take infinity from infinity, you have nothing. And we know something exists because we exist. And we've been given the intellect to look for the ultimate existence in our existence. And we know the ultimate existence transcends us. And we're happy to know Him or know of Him or know whatever He has given us to know. We're blessing Him to have any type of consciousness of His essence to begin with.
hmm. Okay. I get it. I get it. Um, okay. Where was I at? Did I read that? The analogy evoked by this entomological relationship between maternal love and the compassionate matrix of creation is mysteriously implied in the chapter of the Quran named after the Blessed Virgin, the Surat Miriam, chapter 19. For in this chapter, we notice that the name Al Rahman is mentioned repeatedly as a virtual synonym for God. The Blessed Virgin seeks refuge in Al Rahman, 19, verse 18. She consecrates her fast to Al Rahman, 1926. Satan is described as the enemy of Al Rahman, 1944. When the verses revealed by Al Rahman are recited, the prophets fall down to prostrate, 19 verse 58, and so on. The name Al Rahman is repeated no less than 16 times, more than any other chapter of the Quran. Since this name occurs altogether 57 times in the surahs of the Quran, apart from its occurrence at the head of every chapter but one, this means that the Surat Miriam contains more than one quarter of all the instances of which the name Al Rahman comes in the Quran. These
Hey,
cons-
that's an interesting thing because it's showing you the right. Because even there's even a surah called Ar Rahman. So you're saying even in Surah Ar Rahman, it doesn't have as many Rahmans as Surah Miriam,
hmm,
and it tells you what the meaning of Rahman. 'Cause Rahman comes from the womb, and what is the Mary? She's the womb of Jesus.
right, right.
So
So
it's
y'all
and
believe she had a virgin birth?
yeah. We believe in the virgin birth.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. These considerations help to substantiate the point made above that in the Islamic worldview, God's Rahmah is not just mercy, rather, it is the infinite love and overflowing beatitude of ultimate reality, one of whose manifestations is mercy. In this light, one can better appreciate such perspectives as the following within Jodoshin Buddhism. The inner truth is, from the eternal love do all beings have their birth. Such a statement articulates a dimension of causality left completely out of the account by the earlier Buddhist scriptures, where the entire emphasis was on escape from the round of births and deaths. So, see, this is saying like the Jodo Shin is like a later kind of addition. I really don't know
Yeah.
anything about. The only important point about the birth of beings was the existence of the unborn to which one must flee or refuge. The process by which beings were born was thus seen as a process of enslavement to the ineluctability of suffering and death. In Mahayana Buddhism, however, one can find expressions of love and compassion which are identified with the creative power of the Absolute. This passage from naturalness shows that the Absolute reveals its eternal life through the dimension of its great compassion. Amida, which Amitabha, is the Supreme Spirit from whom all spiritual revelations grow and to whom all personalities are related. Amida is at once the infinite light, Amitabha, and the eternal life, Amitayas. He is at once the great wisdom, Mahaprajna, Daichi, the infinite light, and the great compassion, Mahakarunu Daihi, the internal life. The great compassion is creator, while the great wisdom contemplates. Hmm.
Okay, that's interesting. Oh, I just want to get back to the part about the virgin birth, though. And the virgin birth is on plays this type of role because it's supposed to also remind us of Adam. Because the same way God can make man out of nothing, he can make man with the woman. Like it's just almost like the way God made Adam out of the earth, right? Out of the earth is the same way God made Jesus out of out of Mary, because before at Adam's time there was no woman to make a man out of. You know what I'm trying to say? But when now woman is here, he was able to make a man inside the woman because he had not made man inside the woman before because he had not made woman at that time.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's just more interesting. And to me all these things are just the story of Adam and Jesus. All these things to me, are more mystical than anything. You know what I'm trying to say?
Hmm.
I take it all as mysticism. You know what I'm trying to say? I think Islam, to me, Islam is a mystical religion. You know what I'm trying to say? So so that's my interpretation. A lot of people, not everything's supposed to be taken literally in Islam. You know what I'm saying? Like some
Hmm.
things are mystical stories to teach us mystical lessons. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's me.
Some lines
And-
later, oh,
No, I'm sorry. Go.
some lines later, we read about the unitive power of love. This can be compared with the compassionate love which is spiritually required and logically implied by the metaphysics of Tawhid. In love, the sense of difference is obliterated and the human heart fulfills its inherent purpose and perfection, transcending the limits of itself and reaching across the threshold of the spirit world. In love, the sense of difference is obliterated. The unity of being, which may be conceptually understood through knowledge, is spiritually realized through love, whose infinite creativity overflows into a compassion whose most merciful act is to reveal this very oneness. To return to Al Ghazali, the perfect and eternal love of God creates the human being in a disposition which ever seeks proximity to Him and furnishes him with access to the pathways leading to the removal of the veils of separating him from God, such that he comes to see God by means of God himself. And all this is the act of God and a grace bestowed upon him, God's creature, and such is what is meant by God's love of him. This enlightening grace of God towards his creatures is constitutive of his love for them, a love which in reality is nothing other than his love for himself. Human love and compassion, by means of which the sense of difference is obliterated between self and other, can thus be seen as a unitive reflection here below of the oneness of the love of God for himself within himself. Absolute compassion and transcendent oneness, far from being mutually exclusive, are thus harmoniously integrated in uncompromisingly unitive Tawhid. The
I
compassion.
mean,
Oh,
I mean, uh, I mean,
so I don't
I mean,
understand this like love for himself, love
love,
himself,
love
like
for himself. Because he doesn't need.
within
Yeah,
himself.
he doesn't need love. I mean, he might love him, but okay, to say he love himself, I can't honestly say is
I can't
something bad. I don't
understand that.
know. Now to say he love himself, I can't. I never thought of that, but I'm trying to figure out is if would that be still shirk. I'm trying to figure out would that be any type of kufr. And I don't know if it will be any type of kufr though. I can't. It's hard for me to say that's kufr. Okay, because loving himself is not something. Nah, I can't say that's any type of kufr. So he can pass that part, but man, the absolute compassion, transcendent one, mutual exclusive, rather mercy integrated. But then saying the love of self in self is saying that's the love of creation. Like, what is he trying to say? Let me see. It's just that constitutive love of God's creation bestowed upon the creation, love of himself within himself. There's not love of self within. I mean, because he holds everything, but it's not. His love of self is what he holds. I mean, I mean, it's one of the things that he's on a fine line. He's trying to walk a fine line.
One of them ones, yeah.
Trying to walk a fine line. He's trying to walk a fine line, and it's hard to get him. It's hard for me to get him off the bat. He's walking a fine line, and he didn't tell himself this time. Like sometimes he tells on himself. He didn't give
Yeah.
himself a real time. He did it better. So I'll have to give him the benefit of the doubt on this one. Cause I didn't tell himself. I have to give him the benefit of the doubt later. Because it's almost like the level of himself. And because yeah, because you could he could pass it. It's passing. He passing. He's passing. Because look, because you cause look is but then again, I'm trying to see if because he that's not necessarily forcing saying the creature and the creator the same because the creature could say you could say the creature because look, God is inside of everything. He's almost like okay, even us we say that God is closer to us than our jugular vein, meaning that he permeates all things, but he transcends that. Like the essence of those things are different, but he permeates everything. You know what I'm trying to say? He permeates everything, but not everything is him. He permeates all of creation. You know what I mean by that? He like permeates the whole thing.
Yeah, that's that like thing that it's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around, but from
Yeah, okay,
your
like
point of view, like I
she
get,
transcends it, right?
yeah,
They say all creation is within God, but he's not part of creation, and creation is
yeah,
not part of him. But he permeates all of creation.
yeah, yeah, I get it.
You understand? It's like when a cauldron of creation. So it's almost like how you think of situations, but the way you think of conditions is the way we think of creation. In a way, it's comparable, right? Because you say everything is caused by their condition, right? What was
Yeah,
the word that we're using?
yeah, but if he
What was the word that
create,
we're using?
yeah, the conditions, but like if he made the conditions,
Yes, he's the creator. He made the conditions. He made the law. Yes, he laid the law down.
yeah, it's
So yeah, so we think of it's comparable to how you think of conditions, but we attribute the conditions to the creator who made the conditions to begin with,
mhm,
even the human condition. You understand?
mhm. Yeah, but then he has conditions, and then like it's like,
Well,
for me,
I don't
it's
give you the
you. It's like
time.
he's closer to your jugular, and he's your eyes, and
Closer to you,
that's
it's
like,
closer to you, jugular Jim. No, it's not.
like,
Cause look, you're in him, but you're not part of him. It's almost like
yeah, no,
he's almost
I
like
get what you're saying. Like like I understand what you're saying, and I can get it, but like I don't know. To me, it's kind of like, mm, like my point of view is like, okay, That's one of the ones, Victor. Okay, I understand.
there's one of the ones.
See, if God is
What's
all encompassing, he doesn't need love from us, no?
if God is all encompassing, He doesn't need love from us, no. But if God is all encompassing, He does no. He doesn't need it, no. By no means He needs it. You know,
By that logic, Carter, God is love. How, though?
good is no. Good is love. Or he might be saying God. He might have
Yeah, he
misspelled it.
fixed it at the next one,
God,
but
fix it,
like,
God. Yeah, I understand.
he's not, though. Like, he's not love. He's not
He
all
gives
love.
love. I mean, yeah, yes, but He's still all love because even in the wrath He gives love. He's all mercy. He's all rahmah. Maybe He's all rahmah because even in His wrath, He's merciful. Even in His wrath.
Yeah, see, that to me is just completely contradictive. But I mean, I guess when you have to make it omnipotent, like you have to make it work. So I can see how it works, but to me, I have a hard time with this. kind of aspects, you know? So it's like either he's
Yeah, because
everywhere or
everything.
he's not. Like it's either it's like it can only be one or the other. Like it can't be both.
No, no, no. Okay, okay. Let's go back to the permeate. Why can't he? Why can't everything be in him, right? But there is not. Why can't everything be contained by him, right? Be contained. Okay, the word is contained really. Everything be contained in him, and he permeate all that he contains. But that contain what he contains is not of the same nature of him because it is his creation and not him. He created. He contains his creation.
You can't
He contains all.
you can't be permeated by something without containing an aspect of it. So like
You're from him. No, yes you can. No, no, no. Yes, yes you can. Yes you can. Yes you can.
no, no. All
Yes
right,
you
so
can.
listen to this, right? So like all right, water permeates a sponge, right? So I have a
Yes, yes,
bowl of
yes, yes,
water. If I have a bowl of
yes,
water, right, and I have a dry
yes,
sponge, and I put the
yes,
sponge into the water, right? The
yes,
water permeates the sponge, right?
yes,
Then when I
yes,
take the sponge out, it contains some of the water from the bowl. Is
yes,
literally inside the sponge.
yes,
And that water determines whether the sponge is dry or wet. So,
yes.
therefore, the sponge contains water.
But the sponge is not water.
Right. It's not water, but it's got
Exactly.
water inside of it.
That's how we are. We are God inside of us, but we're not God.
Right.
Yes.
So, if everything has God inside of it,
But it's
then
not God.
there's
Yeah.
right. It's not God, but if God is
Exactly.
inside
No, no, I
everything,
believe that. I believe that. No, we totally believe that. He permeates everything. I told you, he's closer to us than our jugular vein. He's
okay,
closer to us than our jugular vein. We totally agree with that. Yes. That's what we're saying.
so then how can everything not contain God?
We didn't say that. We said everything contains God, but He's not contained by everything. I mean, okay, you contain something of Him, right? But okay. We pretend water was one thing. You use the same analogy, but pretend water was one thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is one thing. Water. There's no separation in water.
Right. Like God is one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So 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 you contain part of his infinite. You can say part of his infinitude, but you only contain part of his infinitude that you could contain. So it's necessarily finite. So it's creation. That's who you are. Your creation. That's the that's the that's the nature. We're speaking right now of the nature of creation, how God creates by contracting his infinitude into finite substances yeah by contracting his infinitude into finite substances. Yeah, that's how it's made. He does that, and but he could keep doing that because he has infinitude, so he can keep contracting forever. He could keep subtracting and taking away from him eternally because creation has no ends except for end. The only end in creation is end, and he is the end. He's the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end. The beginning, yeah, he's the beginning and the end.
Okay. That
So
still
it's like he
doesn't
could.
answer the question
It
with the
does
water
because
and
it's almost like that
sponge.
water is not the water is not. It has water in it, but it's not. But the water is one thing. It has water in it, but it doesn't have water. Okay, look. Okay, the
It
sponge
does
has
have
water in it,
water.
right?
It
But it doesn't have
contains
water.
water inside of it.
But it doesn't contain water.
Yes, it does contain water because you could squeeze it and take the water out. That's why I said, could he take it back?
But it
You
doesn't
said,
contain
yeah.
water. Okay, okay, it doesn't contain. Okay, 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 okay. Okay. Play this. Okay, okay, play this. God is all the water. It doesn't contain all the water.
No, it don't contain all of it, but it does contain some of it
But
inside
not
of
all
it.
the water. But God is only when we say God, we're only speaking of all the water.
So it don't matter unless it's all of it.
Yes, because God is every yes, yes.
So then it
If
don't
you want to
matter if
even
he's in your jugular vein or not because it ain't all of it, so it don't matter. Is that what you're
it
telling
do
me?
matter. It do matter.
So then how is
Uh,
How is God not
us to
in
realize
everything? How is all right? How is God not in everything
because
then?
God is all the water. All the water is not in anything.
Yeah, I
Nothing
get
contains
it.
all
Like
the water.
collectively, right, right. I'm not saying all. I'm saying
No, but that's
some
what God
of.
is. No, I'm saying that's what God is. It's only God when it's all.
Right. So if it's in just your jugular vein, then it don't mean nothing because it ain't all. That's what you're telling me.
No, it doesn't mean God. But it means something. It doesn't mean you have God in you, but you have part of God. You have something of God inside. Yes, you're of God. You're of God, but you're not God. You of God.
But a piece of him is in you
A piece that came from Him is in you.
and
You
all
yourself are a piece
things.
that came from Him.
And all
Everything is a piece
things.
of Him. Everything is a piece that came from Him. Yes, all existence is pieces
So
that come from Him.
how is this entire planet and everything in it and the universe in it?
Pieces that came from God. Pieces that
It's
came from God. Creation. It's all creation. We call it creation.
so there's God in everything.
Everything came from God.
Okay, if everything has pieces of God, then God is in everything.
No, because is only
See,
God when
this
it
is where I'm
when
saying, like, this is where the shit gets sorry, this is where it gets convenient just to keep a narrative going. It's a logical contradiction, bro. You
no,
can't
it's
have,
not.
yes, it is. Like, it's impossible. Like, this is how you call it? A circular reasoning, a fallacy. This is a
No, it's not.
fallacy. It is. This is a
It's not.
fallacy.
It's not a fantasy. Because look, it's simple. Watch this.
If
If you
there's
take a
water in
hundred,
the sponge, the same water that was in the bowl, it's the same water. It didn't change. Nobody changed.
no,
It's not frozen. It's not melting.
because
It's
water
not
only refers to
evaporated.
everything.
It's not on fire.
Water,
It's not boiling. Nothing. It's the
stop, stop,
same
stop,
water
stop,
in the
stop,
sponge.
stop, 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 stop. First of all, we're using a creature thing to try to understand the creator. So we have to understand the creator transcends creation. So if we're going to use analogies from creation, we have to still understand the creator transcends creation, even if we're using analogical tools for our understanding. We have to get that first and foremost, right? That's the first thing you have to understand, right?
Okay. Right. Right.
Now,
Right.
yes, yeah, so you have to put that in perspective, right? So let's put in
Yep.
perspective of
Yep.
what we're trying to describe. We're just using these things to describe something for our own purpose, for our own limitations as human beings, for our understanding, right? But
Right.
we have to understand when we talk about transcends the matter that we're using to talk about it in, right? So now
Right.
we're using the matter of a sponge, right?
Yep.
I'm saying if we want to compare it to God, we have to say all the water, and even and it's not that even God transcends even that. But I'm trying to make it easier for our conception, right? God transcends. God is, of course, He's infinitely transcending of what I'm speaking of. But I'm misusing this to illustrate a point, right? So now, if we saying God is all the water, right? That sponge where you put in the water contains water, but it doesn't contain God because God is only all the water. Anything short of all the water isn't God
Okay. So how is that water out of the all?
because it's not all. It's some of the water. It's not all the water.
So just like you said with the infinity, right? Like if you take a million out of infinity, right? You got a infinity and
Infinity.
a million, right? But
Yes,
that million,
and
you
but
wouldn't
infinity stays the same.
right, right, right. Infinity stays the same. I get that. But you wouldn't have that million if you didn't take it out of infinity, right? It wouldn't
Exactly.
exist.
So that's why we need a creator. Yes, that's why we have the creator. Yes,
Okay. So that million is
it's from infinity, but it's not infinity.
but it
Exactly. That means from infinity, but it's not infinity.
but you it's a piece of it.
But it's not it because infinity is still infinity. It hasn't lost any nature. It has not lost anything by giving by taking the million from it because it's still infinity. It hasn't lost anything by taking the million from it.
Right. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the million. The million is direct chunk of that infinity.
Yes, yes,
It
that's
is a
true.
it's like if I
But it's not
chopped
infinity.
off my hand it would
No,
still
the
be
difference
a
is
part of me. If I put
yes,
my,
but,
if I,
but you're not infinity.
right,
But
right,
you're not
right, right,
infinite.
right, right,
The
right.
difference is I'm gonna tell you the difference. No, the difference I'm gonna tell you the big difference. The difference is because you're not infinity. That's why it's not the same thing. Because infinity doesn't change. Anything finite, right? If you take from it, it loses. Anything finite, right? But infinity does not lose anything when you take from it. That's
Right,
the
and I
difference in
get
its
that. I
nature.
get that. But the thing is if you're using that infinity to create the finite, then the finite will not be existence without that infinite, right? So
That's the
the
point. Yes,
finite is a chunk or a part of the
it came. It
infinity.
is a part that came from that infinity. It's not. Oh, it's not that infinity anymore. We took it away from that infinity, and that infinity is still there, and it's still complete and whole without the part taken away from it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to disagree to disagree on this because I can't wrap my head around it. I can't, because in the way I look at it, right, is that that chunk wouldn't exist without it. So it's a piece of that. It's a piece of that.
Yeah, see, John is saying it because it's not God in its totality. Yes, that's the reason why.
It isn't
Okay, pay
God,
attention.
but it is a part of God, which isn't
It,
a part of
it's not a
God.
part of
Like,
God anymore
that's what
because
I'm
you're taking
saying.
it away from infinity.
Like, it's
Infinity has no parts. Infinity has no parts. It's just one thing. It's one essence. Infinity has no parts.
right,
It
right.
has no parts.
No, no,
You're
no, no,
taking a part
no.
of God. It has no parts. Infinity has no parts. It's absolute singularity. It has no parts. That's the difference. Infinity has a fundamentally different nature than. Infinity has a fundamentally different nature than the finite.
It has no parts.
Yes, infinity has no parts. Absolute infinity has no parts. It's absolutely one essence. There's no parts. There's no shirk. That's the part of the shirk. There's no. We don't have a shirk.
I don't know. Like, I feel like it just. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I don't see it, but maybe you know what I'm saying. Like, hey, if it works, then I'll give it to you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It works. It
that's all
definitely
I can
works.
say.
It works. This is.
I don't understand how, like, it doesn't seem logically possible. But hey, I guess that's where faith comes in, maybe.
It does seem logically possible. How? It's logically super possible. It's easy. It's so simple. I don't get how you don't see it though. I really don't. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying just to say it. It's like you take infinity. Infinity it doesn't is no change to infinity when you take it, and the thing you take is fundamentally different than infinity. That may, no matter what, is fundamentally different than that infinity.
Then that means infinity can never separate. You can never take anything from it. It would have to remain
Y-
the
y-
same
Yes,
in
yes, that's what we're
entirety.
saying. Yes,
So you couldn't
yes.
take a million out of it.
You
It's
can take a million out of
impossible.
it.
No, you can't.
You
It
can.
has to stay. It has to stay the same.
It does stay the same. Is nature's different than the finite? Is nature's different than the finite? If you take a million from it, it's still infinity.
You couldn't take a million from it, though. That's what I'm saying. You can't
You can take
separate
a
that.
million, but yes, you can. You can take a million, but it's not going to change its nature.
You
If you
can
have,
take a
if you
million,
have,
it's
if
not going to
you have
change its
infinite,
nature. If you can't take away from infinity, then you can't take a million from it.
you can, but it doesn't subtract. You could take away from infinity without subtracting from it, without infinity subtracting its value. It doesn't lose value from if the infinite does not lose value from subtraction. Yes, the infinite does not lose value from subtraction.
Infinite does not lose value from
Value from
subtraction.
from subtraction. Yep.
But I'm saying you can't subtract from it without it being of it.
Everything is of God. Yes, everything's of it. You're of God, but you're not God. Yes, you're of infinity, but you're not infinity. Yes, that's true. Yeah, I admit that. You're of God. You're a creature. You're of God. Yes, that's fact. You're of God, but you're not God.
Uh,
That's the nature of being a creature. You're a creature. You're of God, but not of, but you're of God, but you're not God.
so if the like that's what I'm saying. Like there's it doesn't make where I'm saying like it doesn't make a logical sense because there's nothing like that in a like in
That's
like
the.
you
It's
could
nothing
say
like the.
like
Yes, that's the point.
observable or like reality. Like
That's God.
there's
It's
nothing
nothing
that
like
can
that.
live independent of anything else. Like there's nothing
That
outside of
yes,
it. So
that's the
you
point.
can't take from it.
That's
You
the
can't
point.
take
That's the
away from
point.
it.
That's the point. The point is, it's transcendent. That's the point, Jen.
Right.
God is
So
transcendent
you
of
can't
creation.
right, so you can't take nothing from it.
You can take from it, but it won't lose value. You can subtract. It doesn't lose value from subtraction. The infinite does not lose value from subtraction. That's the key. That's the key difference with the infinite and the finite. Yes, there's nothing in existence like it. Besides it, there is no. This one says la ilaha illallah. That's why he even emphasized the negative first. There's nothing in existence like it except for it. La ilaha illallah. Exactly. That's the point of la ilaha illallah.
Right. So if that was the fact, then it would be completely, yeah. And see, I think this is exactly Badmarsh summed it up. Like he said, this is you've reached a stalemate where Dharmic philosophy splits away from Abrahamic. Yes, I believe so. Yeah. See, I- the I just don't. Yeah, I could see it from your point of view, right? Like it seems like it works and everything like that, but it's really, and I'm not trying to be difficult or say like I'm like,
I
trying
know, I
to
know, I
oppose.
know.
Like I'm really trying to understand it and it just is not making sense to me. Like it has to be dependent upon or a
Why
piece
does it have to be
of
dependent?
or
Why can't you have an independent God? Is
because
independent from the creation he created. He's independent from what he created. He doesn't depend on what he created. That's his nature. He's independent. Yes, he's independent. That's his whole purpose of being God. He's independent. That's what he is. He's independent of the creation. He created it, but he's independent of what he created. Yes, exactly the words. He's independent of what he created. That's why he doesn't lose value when he's subtracted from.
mm, so if you take a
Shout
mil
out Eden in the chat. Shout out
yeah,
Eden in the
big up and then big up.
chat.
Um, so if you have the infinity, right? You said it doesn't take away, like you could take a million from it and it will still be infinity, right? So then if you take away from that, infinity will remain the same
Yes.
and the million is completely separated from the infinity.
Exactly. That's why the creatures completely separated from the creation. Exactly.
So the infinity has absolutely nothing to do with the million. It's completely done. It has no need for it. It has no
There's no need for it. There's no
interaction
need
with
for it.
it. It has
It can interact
no.
with it. It interacts with
No,
it
it
because
has no
it,
need
it
to
permeates
because it's
everything.
subtracted. It's infinite. There's no
It
coming
doesn't
back.
need to.
You
It
can't
doesn't need
merge
to, right?
back with it once it's
It,
separate
listen,
from
listen,
it.
listen. Yeah, yes, yes. You can't merge back to one separate. You're right, right? It doesn't need it, right? It could, but it can still interact with it. It doesn't need it. That's the thing. It's independent. He interacts with it through what? Through mercy. He does. That's what we call the miracle. That's mercy.
Yeah,
That's
see,
favor.
that's the that. Yeah, all right,
We
all
have
right.
miracle. We have yes, yes, yes. Exactly. We draw
Okay.
near to God by miracle. Yes, yes. It's a mystical religion. We believe that we believe that there's we have a mystical relationship with God. We do.
Hmm.
And us and God have mystical. Yeah, we have a, because we call it the mystical conversations, or Najwa, and it's the root, and the root word is even salvation. The root word for salvation, the root word for mystical conversation is actually salvation. We when God have an intimate, we have a mystical relationship with God. That's what we believe in Islam. The humankind and
Let me
God and the
see.
God
So, like,
Almighty has a mystical relationship.
if the infinity has like is like you take a million away from it, like it replenishes or whatever, goes back to an infinity or remains
It doesn't even change. It
infinite.
doesn't. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so it just remains infinite. Then that infinite has zero need for.
Zero need for the creation. Zero need. Yep. But he still loves us.
So
That's the
what
miracle.
need do the million have for the infinite? Then it's separate entity at that point. There's nothing.
Oh, because creation. Okay, your very existence is dependent on the infinite, and us knowing this,
No, no, it came from it.
it
You're
is.
already done. It's done.
Yes, but you came from it. So you needed it to exist to
No,
begin
it
with.
came a long time ago
I
from
know, but
it.
you needed it to. But did you not need it to exist to begin with?
The beginning, the first people who did after that is only
Okay,
us.
so if you needed to begin with, did that's one instance of need.
Not in my
One instance.
physical life. In Adam, if you want to, for the sake of the story, say Adam and Eve, they're the only two people who needed it. And after that, it's done. There's nothing
No,
else
because
required.
everything
You're
is everything
completely
else.
separate from infinity now. You're a million. Infinity don't need you. It don't
That's
care
one
about
second.
you.
But guess what? Guess what? No, no. Guess what?
It
God is
don't
continuously
need
creating.
you. It
Hey,
can
no, I'm gonna tell you
without
why.
you.
Because listen. That's one instant, right? That's one instant of creation, right? That's one instant, right? Listen, that's
Hmm.
one instant. But God, that see, every act of creation is only one instant of creation, but we're still being created. Every second we're being created. You just said every instant is more and more creation.
No, the
Every
million
instant.
has become self-sufficient after the first
It doesn't.
separation.
It's never self sufficient. No, it's never self sufficient because even to exist as a million, it only exists as a million in one instance. But and that's when it's made. But to exist in a million in another instant, God has to perpetuate His existence into another instant.
No, that's
Yes, He does.
impossible.
Because he's the only one who perpetuates existence. Yes, only God could perpetuate existence. Not only they creates, He sustains. Because only He can perpetuate existence. Just because He creates you in an instant doesn't mean you exist outside of that instant.
Just because he created that instance doesn't mean you
Just because
exist
you exist
outside
doesn't mean
that.
you create
What?
outside of that instant of existence. Just because you exist doesn't mean you exist outside that instance of existence of creation. I mean of creation. Doesn't just because you created just because you exist doesn't mean you exist outside of that instant of creation, except for the grace of God in perpetuating your creation and existence beyond the first instance of creation.
Anand says, why can't Allah be independent and one with the multiverse or an infinite number of multiverses?
Because God must transcend all creation. So whether it's the universe or the multiverse, that's not even the big issue. The big issue is creation. God has to be independent and transcendent of creation.
Yeah, like I feel like it's just saying things to keep to the rules like just saying things that don't kind of it doesn't make like sense, but it just says it to keep to the
How does it not
rules.
make sense though? If that's the
Because
rule,
like all right, like Victor says,
what
right?
if
Like
you're making your own rules? Okay, what if there's a rule and you're not submitting to the actual rule that exists? What if there's a rule that exists, but you don't know the rule that exists, and you're saying that something breaks the rules, but you don't actually know the rules, and in the whole time you're breaking the rules?
I mean that could be, but I'm just trying to, and I'm not very smart, so logic to me isn't
No, no,
really
no, no. No,
like
we're having a philosophical. No, we have no, no. It's not personal, Jen. I'm just.
no, no,
You know,
no, no. I'm just
we're
saying,
having a
like, I'm not
philosophical. One.
even real, like, deep with the whole logic and stuff like this. So, all right, this is the way I'm thinking about it, right? Like, if you separate something from infinity, infinity has zero need for that thing anymore, right? And that thing now
Yes, it does not need it. It does
exists,
not need
okay,
it.
okay, exist independent from infinity. Okay,
It
so
doesn't
it's
exist independent from infinity. Infinity created it.
does.
It doesn't exist outside. No,
But
because listen,
after that
listen, what you're
initial
missing.
point of creation, there's
It doesn't exist.
zero
It doesn't exist. It,
connectivity between
that
that
means it doesn't
and
exist.
the million.
That means it doesn't exist outside of the instant of creation. Creation is only one instant.
Creation's only one instance, right? Where
Yes,
Adam,
it's only
where
one
he,
instant.
okay, so where the million was separated, right? That's creation. Yeah.
Yes, but then once it's separated,
Okay.
it doesn't exist outside of that separation. That one instant of separation. For it to keep existing is because God is preserved, has preserved its existence. God has preserved its existence. For it to exist outside of the instant of creation.
But there's no need for it. That's what I'm saying.
There's no
Why
need
is
for
there a
God to
need
do
for
it.
it?
He doesn't need to. But no, he does it because he wants to perpetuate creation.
So then, if he's still connected to that million,
He
that
is. He's connected to it.
million is a piece of the
No, he's not. He's
infinity.
connect. Okay, okay. I can be connected to you. I can be connected to you. Okay, I can do some bond with you right now. I can bond. Yes, it's called bond. Yes, we connect. We connect. Just because you're connected to God doesn't mean you're God. I'm connected to God right now. I'm God's friend. I have a leash on God. I mean, we call it
Hmm.
marbutia. But we're connected to connectivity. Yes, we're supposed to be connected to God. He ties us. We're supposed to be tied to God. Yes, just because you're tied to God does not make you God.
Okay, think fractals and infinity. That makes sense. I don't know what that means. Like I don't know what that. How Anand says, how can something other than Allah exist?
The same way I just explained. If you take away the million, it still exists. Because he could take away from us. He could subtract from himself without losing value. He's still perfect at Allah no
Right.
matter what he subtracts from himself.
So are you okay? So I'm thinking of like two like pieces of paper, right? I don't know how to describe this. Okay, on one piece of paper is the infinity sign, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
On the other piece of paper is the million, right?
Yes.
They're two separate things, yeah?
Okay.
All right. So the infinity has no need for the other piece, and the other
Yes.
piece, after its original creation, has no need for the
After
infinity.
its original creation, well, watch this though. After its original creation, it does not exist.
How?
It only exists in the instant of creation. Creation is an instant.
So when you say the
And it has
instance
to be
of
constantly for
creation,
something to exist. Is constantly instantiated by God for something to exist. It's constantly instantiated.
what's that mean? Instantiated.
Every instant he's making it. Every instant he's making us. He's unfolding. Creation is unfolding every. every instant. Creation is unfolding every instant. Yes. Creation, preservation, and every blessing we enjoy is unfolding every instant.
So every instant, there's millions being taken from it.
Yes, yes. Continuously, continuously, every instant. He's preserving life in every instant. Every single instant he's behind every instant of creation. Every instant of creation, he's creator of every instant of creation. Yes, he's the creator of every instant of creation.
All
There's
right,
no instant of creation independent of him. Yes, there's no instant of creation independent of him.
zoom. Let me see what this guy's talking about. Mandelbrot set zoom. What's that? Images set of complex numbers for. Man, this is some math. Junction of two mathematical concepts of order and chaos. Any one part of the larger set is replicated in part of the smaller set. Infinitely. Any one part of the larger set is replicated in any part of the smaller set infinitely.
So he's trying to show you the reverse of creation, how it works in reverse, and he's trying to show you if you could understand how it works in reverse, you could understand creation. That's basically what he's trying to do. Because if you take the what he's doing and then go all the way, but then reverse it, that would be the act. That would be the way. That would be somewhat comparable. I'm not saying the same thing, but I understand the concept. That what he's saying. If you reverse it, that's kind of the concept of creation. It's kind of, and it probably. It help you understand better. I'm not gonna say the exact same thing, but it help you. It would, if you take what he said and reverse it. What you're talking about, reverse it. That would help understand creation.
Hmm. Okay. This looks like something I saw once. Maybe allegedly may or may not have been under the influence of some hallucinogenic. um,
You were telling on yourself.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I guess. It's hard for me. I'm having a hard time with this one. This one is got me stumped. So I might have to check this out again. Fractal. It's a fractal. Mandelbrot set. 21. I'm gonna have to look these up. Like, these are 20 something, 15-minute things. All right. Um, yeah, we went off on a little rabbit
No, no,
hole with that
that's
one.
not
That was
tangent.
a good.
That was no tangent. We had to break that down. I had to break it down. I had to break it down for you.
I gotta
I had to
look
break it
to a
down.
1 minute vid. All right. Is it on
This is the
YouTube?
heart. This is the heart of the conversation.
Yeah.
Gotta get this down. 'Cause this is Tawheed
Yeah,
we talking about.
I'm having a hard time with this. Like, I don't know. I just don't see I don't see the connection, and I guess that's the faith that is there. You know what I'm saying? Like, mm,
Like,
so
wait, what connection? Yeah, you think? 'Cause look, it was never independent. If first and foremost needed it needed the infinity to take from itself just to begin with. It was never independent. Its very nature is dependency. Creation's very nature is dependency on the creator. Its very nature.
okay, so I can get that, but I just can't understand that if it's coming out of that every moment, then it has to
Yes,
have
constantly unfolding. It's
that
constantly unfolding. Yes,
that it has to have some of
the
that
creator.
in it.
It is closer to you than your jugular vein. It's through you. Permeates through. Yes, God permeates through you. Yes, He does. I didn't dispute that. It's just like the water thing. But for it to be God, it's only all the water because God is infinite, and it's beyond that. I'm just using that as an example. You might have water in you, but you don't have all the water, so you don't have God, the God. That's why even in Islam we always say the God. It's a definite article. It's almost like the small d little d. You might have the little d, but you don't have the small d. I mean, you might have the little d, but you don't have the big D. Remember the big D?
Pause.
The big energy. Energy. You got to mind the big.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's hard for me to understand how it can be of that. Like, it can't
It's like this.
have that.
It's almost like it's the small D, but it's not the big D. It's like, yeah, you can have up a small D, we don't got a big D. The big D in you.
Oh, shit. Uh, yeah, so it permeates, but it's not inside you. It's closer to your jugular vein, but it's
Go
not
simply your
inside you.
jugular vein. He's
It's
not
your
inside you.
it's your
Part
eyes
of
that
him
have
inside
you
you.
see, but it's not inside you. It's
Yes,
your hands that grasp, but it's still not inside you. It's
you
your
know.
feet that walks, but it's not in your feet either. So
Yes. He
yeah,
permeates, he transcends.
I
It's a
love.
transcendent God. It's transcendent. You have to get the transcendence of the creator. He totally transcends creation. That's transcendence, yes.
Hmm.
We're dealing with the nature of transcendence. That's what it means to transcend. He absolutely transcends creation.
Uh, makes creation, but he's not inside of it.
No, exactly. He makes creation, but he's not inside of it. I mean, yes, exactly.
Where does he make it from?
From himself. He makes creation from himself, yes.
He makes it from himself. It's
Yes.
not a piece of it.
He's infinite. And it's of different nature. It's from him. It's from him and from him, but it's not him.
Alright. I'm I'm done with that. I'm gonna let you have it, bro.
It makes perfect sense.
It doesn't.
It does. It makes perfect sense. It does. It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense.
Oh, oh my goodness. Yeah. Jeez. Um. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey,
Anybody else
pay
want
no
to
attention. We're
jump
trying to
on?
help you.
Anyway.
Hey, pay no attention. We're trying to help you. Pay no attention. We're trying to help you, man. He
Yeah,
can
I'm
help
trying
you
to
out.
see, but I can't see where's the link though? I can't see the link. For the
For what?
1 minute, he said he has a link for a 1 minute video, but I can't see it. Try that one, but what one? I don't see any video there. Let me see live chat. Can you type the title of the video? Oh, never mind. Let me try that. What is that? Just youtube.com and then watch? Let's see. I had to, all right, let's see. All right, so I have to share a tab or share a. Oh, I wonder if I could just type it into this. I hate the Microsoft browser. It's such trash.
Was the Internet Explorer?
No, what is it? This one, the
Is that Internet Explorer no more? They have a different browser now. Microsoft make a different browser.
Edge, Microsoft
I
Edge or
never.
something like that.
I never heard of that one. I'm still on Chrome and all that stuff. Maybe because every I mean I still got I never
Yeah,
heard of the new Microsoft. The when did that one come out? Because it had Internet Explorer for like forever, right?
yeah. I don't even know. Okay, so here's the video. Let's see. I don't know if the sound is gonna play. Oh, so it all has those things stuck on it infinitely. Is that what he's saying? And this is what? A mathematical equation or something? Okay, and inside of everything is that thing. I guess like a pattern, like a crazy pattern.
Okay.
That's pretty trippy. Like mad trippy. Otherwise, it's just gonna get smaller. They're all gonna be in there.
Yep. That's it though. See, and see, he's going in evolution. That's going back to creator. That's Tauba, right? When we contemplate that, right? Now the creation is the when he created it was the opposite. God pushed everything, unfolded. You know what I'm saying? And we're supposed to make Tauba is to return. That's our meditation. Our meditation is to return while God unfolds. So it's like we're experiencing the maxim. We speak. Our meditations give us um 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 um, um optimality in our experience of creation, and
Hmm.
he's demonstrating that in this. He's giving a representation to help
If
understand
you
that
wear
point.
glasses or contacts, you must see this. An
So thank you. Yeah, that was good. This is
Okay. I mean, yeah, I see. Like, I get it. I see it. Um, It's kind of wild, but I could understand it. Yeah. Um, Let me see. It's what,
Yep.
12:30. Let me put out the thing and see if anybody wants to jump on.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, you can put it out.
If anybody's in the Discord already, you want to jump on, feel
Yeah, you
free.
can jump on anybody. What's on not here today? Okay. What's so did good last time? But I don't see what so thinks about the oneness argument, infinity and oneness. That'd be good to see. So how I so would try to contemplate it, or not, or how you try to not contemplate it. That'd be good to see philosophically. What can he come up with?
Let's see. Don't worry about that side. We're just.
Yeah, you see. Yeah, hey, thanks. Yeah, he
Yeah.
helped us.
Hey,
He
thank
helped us.
you. Thank you.
He helped us. See, he should thank you. You help me prove Jen that is not what I'm saying. Is not. You know what I'm saying. We mathematically could prove it.
I mean,
That's mathematical visualization.
but that thing, right, is still all connected. It's still a piece of
I'm
the whole
saying
thing. Like that visualization that he just did, right, is still all
no, because
one
yes,
picture.
exactly. Exactly. But guess what? It demonstrates creation when you go backwards into the infinite. It's gonna get into infinite until it's never until it's gonna go like that until it never gets infinite. It's gonna keep going. So it's showing you the existence of infinity. Okay, that demonstration is showing you the existence of infinity to observing it through its creation. Like for example, we observe God through His creation. That's why we have signs of God. That's all signage. We don't observe God through Himself, because we can't experience God in Himself because He transcends all creation.
Um,
We experience something of Him. We experience His signs all the time. Every blessing is a sign. We experience His grace, His mercy. His mercy connects us to Him. We're connected to Him by His mercy. Our existence is a mercy, and our acknowledgement of existence is even a greater mercy.
yeah, I mean,
It's mercy. It's full of mercy. You have to understand, and this is Rahmah, what He's talking about. You have to understand an existence of mercy, or the existence of mercy.
yeah, I guess mercy. I don't know. It's hard for me to see
Hard for you to see
all that.
mercy?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cause
Why
like
not? It's mercy. But yeah, mercy in your life. So it's in your life, you don't see mercy.
not external. Like I see people be merciful. Like people exhibit mercy, but like
And you don't think it comes from
divine.
anywhere.
I mean,
And you don't think it comes from a transcendent source. Okay, yeah, I understand.
no,
But
just like compassion. Like compassion is a like mercy and compassion. Like they come from within. That comes from something you choose to be. Like you have to choose to be merciful. You have to choose to be
who
compassionate.
gave you choice? Who gave you choice?
Our cognition and volition. We make choices.
Who,
We learn to make choices
oh,
from
okay.
when we were babies.
Who gives you cognition and volition?
It arises because of levels of consciousness that we have.
Who gives you levels of consciousness?
It arises from conditions that nobody could ever know.
Who gives you conditions that nobody can ever know?
It doesn't have to come from a who. That's what I'm saying. If they're unknown, then you can't assume it's a who. If there are conditions that we don't know, you can't. To me, if you know it's a who, then you know. That's not saying you don't know. Like if you knew, then you
So you
knew.
no, because you don't know everything. No, because you're saying that you don't know everything. If I say I don't know everything, but I know there's something, I can say, look, I don't know everything, but I know there's something.
Okay, and if I say I don't know everything, but I know there's something, I just don't know what it is.
Okay, but you know there's something, and you're calling it something. You've named it.
So our consciousness arises from something, we just don't know what it is. But I don't think that, like, I feel like
Okay, you
the
don't know what is right. Okay, you don't know what is right. So now,
we
but you
don't
know
know what
something, right?
consciousness is. We don't
No,
know.
no, 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 no. Hey, wait. I'm make it easy for you. Watch this. You don't know what that something is, right? But you know it is something, right? Right? That's good, right? You're right. You that's good, right? Now, what if that something gave you signs of who he is, and what if he gave you mercy about who he is? That's the only difference. We agree to that part. We can't know who he is unless he is merciful to give us something of himself to make us know who he is. We call that revelation and blessing and mercy and grace and favor. So unless he gives us favor, we can't know anything of him. Yeah, so we agree with the first part of it because we know we can't know him unless he gives us a favor of a sign.
But I don't think that that's something that could ever be like. There's no
So you don't
sign
think God can
that.
have merciful? So you don't think God can be merciful to His creation because you don't believe it's God to begin with, and he can't be merciful to His creation to give him a sign of His existence,
Okay, so a sign of existence, what? That's transmitted through other human beings.
transmit to
It's
other human. Yes, yeah. It's
ultra
first transmitted
limited
to
and
Adam. Oh,
faulty.
okay. First of all, it's in us. It's in our instincts. It's in us. It's in us since Adam.
It's not though.
It
You've been
is in
telling
us.
me
It's a
this whole
feature. That's what we
time
call it.
it's not in
It-
us. It's
it-
not in
we
us.
call it the fitra. We call it the fitra. No,
Then
His mercy is in us. His mercy is. His mercy is in us.
so then that's a piece of it.
His mercy is in
That's an
us.
aspect of it. So then that's God. What are you talking about, bro?
It's not God. He
You just
transcends
been
even
telling
His
us
mercy that He gives us.
for now.
He transcends the
Not
mercy
in
that
us.
He
And now
gives us.
you say just quick as that. It's in us. See, this is what I'm saying, man. It's
No,
either is
He
or it
transcends the mercy that He gives us. He gives the
ain't.
mercy. He transcends even the blessings He gives us.
Like
He gives us a gift.
my mother-in-law used to say this all the time. She's like, either you is or you ain't. Is there something in between is and ain't?
What up, Shine? What up, Shine? Anyway, um, 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 no, it's like this. He transcends what He gives us. Like, how is that hard to understand? He transcends what He gives us. Just because He gives us mercy doesn't mean He's bound by the mercy that He gives us.
But you said his mercy is in us.
Yes, but He's not in His mercy.
But that's an aspect of him, yeah?
It came from Him the same way everything in creation did. But the mercy He gives us is finite to us because we are finite and we cannot contain all of His mercy. So the mercy given to us is finite because of our finite nature. But He still makes us live abundantly. The cup overfloweth. Yes, we have abundant life. What the saved do, the ones He favors the most do. We have abundant life. Yes,
Okay, if I take a 1 centimeter chip off a chair, is the chair still a chair? Yes. Is the one
yes.
centimeter piece a chair too? No. It is a piece of the chair that came from the chair that wouldn't exist without the chair.
Okay. So that's good.
Okay?
That's good. That's good. Yes. So that's good. That's good.
It's a piece of the chair.
But it's not the chair.
So are we not pieces of the creator?
No, because it's
See,
not.
this is
It's
what
not
I'm
the
saying.
same thing.
Yeah, that's
It's
what I'm
not the same.
saying.
No, no. We're pieces. We're pieces from the Creator. But the difference
No,
is, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna say the difference. No, it's a fundamental difference. Let me tell you the fundamental difference. You know why the fundamental difference is? The chair is finite and the creator is infinite. That's why it's a fundamental difference.
but the rule still applies though. This is what I'm saying. So
No, it's
like
not.
you break rules
Because
just to keep a narrative. That's what I'm.
he's
That's
not trying to break rules. He's finite. The
logic.
infinite. I mean, he's infinite. The infinite has fundamentally
So
has
that's
fundamental
so it
explanation than
doesn't.
the finite.
A piece of the infinite is still a piece of the infinite.
A piece of the infinite. No, because the infinite has a different nature. You're one. You're something.
That's what I'm saying. But the rule can't apply to
Because you're
like it
either
either
you're
applies or
not
it
okay.
don't.
A finite, a piece of the infinite. Okay, a piece of the infinite is finite.
A piece of the infinite is a piece of the infinite,
So it's not infinite.
right? But
Okay,
it
okay, you can be a piece
derives.
of God. You're a piece of God, but you're not God, but you're a piece of God. I mean, no, I mean, no, because it's not the same thing. Because he's infinite. It's like okay, a piece. Okay, you cannot have a piece. You could take from the infinite, but it's not a piece. If you take from if you take from an infinite, right? What you take is not a piece of the infinite. Because you know why?
Mm,
Because the infinite does not lose value from subtracting from it.
what?
It doesn't lose value from subtracting from it.
Right. But the piece gains value from
Yes,
subtracting from it.
yes, the piece gains value. Yes, its favorite gains value. Yes, but infinite
Right.
does not lose value. Exactly.
I just can't. I can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't. I can't make it work. Like no matter how hard I
Oh,
try, I can't
wait,
make it work.
let me
So
see the
basically,
question.
you're saying all laws apply except for when it comes to God. He breaks all laws. He's beyond all logic. Is beyond all reason, and people should just keep it at that.
He's beyond creation. That's all you gotta understand. He's beyond creation.
So he's beyond logic and reason.
He's beyond creation. He is the giver of logic and reason.
Okay, so like I would be cool. Uh,
His commandments. His command is logic and reason. That's what his command is. That's his word. This is the kalam. Yep, the kalam. Yep, his word. His word is logic and reason. His word, God's word, is logic and reason. That's his word.
his word is logic and reason.
Yes, kalam. Yep, even in Arabic, the word is kalam. Yep,
But
it's
logic
kalam is
and
like
reason don't apply to him.
he commands it. It do apply to him because he command because he. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. God Himself is a Muslim.
Hmm.
He submits to what He wills. He does because He Himself does what He wants, and His will cannot be frustrated.
Okay, but in order to be a Muslim, you have to profess Muhammad as your prophet.
Yes,
So,
but
so
God
God
Himself professes
submits
that
to
Muhammad is His
Muhammad.
prophet. Yes, He professes that Muhammad is His prophet. Yes, God says Muhammad is God's prophet. He's the one who made him as His prophet. Of course, He professes Muhammad to be His prophet because He made Muhammad to be His prophet. That's the purpose of Muhammad's creation.
Okay. Do
Yeah,
you think God transcends religion though? Like,
you see, pay no attention to man. He understands because God is not the. I mean, we can use a chair, but he has to understand He's infinite, so you can't really use it after that point. because it's like yeah, I'm just commenting on what man behind said. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is Tawheed. I mean, Jen, this is Tawheed. I mean, but thanks for trying to go through it. I mean, it was it. I mean, what you're doing is great. Trying to take a philosophical understanding of Tawheed is a great thing that you make. You put the effort to try to you put the effort to contemplate it and publicly come go through the rigors of trying to understand it. And I appreciate that. That's very
Yes.
appreciable. But yeah, it's just
I'm not
Tawheed. I
trying to be
mean.
like difficult. I don't want you to think I'm being
No,
difficult on
no, no, no. I,
purpose.
I know you're not
I'm
being
really
difficult. I know you're not
not.
being
Like
difficult.
I'm
No,
really
no, no. That,
trying,
that no, no, no. That
So
that that
yeah.
eh, that's the reason. No, that's the reason that's the reason I'm thanking you because I'm because you're here doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thanking you for at least putting your best foot forward to my best ability to ascertain your good intentions. Well, and to make it long story short, I'm appreciating what you're doing. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. I appreciate you. I appreciate this effort you're putting in.
Yeah, no doubt. Bro. I appreciate you being here with me doing this whole thing. Like, I appreciate it greatly. So yeah, man. I mean, oh, oh, are you there?
Yeah, I just turn it off
Yeah,
when I'm not talking. I just turn it off when I'm not talking. When I'm not talking, I just press mute. But I'm always here.
yeah. No, I appreciate you doing this whole thing, man. Like for real, for real.
Yeah, this. I mean, to me, it's so evident that it's. I mean, I can understand. See, if you're so used to Tawheed, right? It's like in everything you think about, everything you do. So some you contemplate all the time. But if you're not used to it, because see, I contemplate it all the time.
Mhm.
My constant prayer in my head, my constant we call it dhikr, my constant remembrance, right? Is la ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha. So it's something I constantly contemplating 24 hours a day almost. So it's like even when I do stuff, even when I'm partying, I contemplate la ilaha illallah. I could be in the club, I'm on my mic saying la ilaha illallah. I could be doing something else I won't even say because it's just not to criminal myself on thing. You know, just not to criminal myself. But I'm still gonna say la ilaha illallah in the middle of that. In the middle of that, la ilaha illallah. My mind will be la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. It's almost like a meditation, almost like home, but it's the light, like, because that's what somebody tried to tell me. 'Cause this guy, I know this guy. He studies Eastern religions, and he was like, oh, like, because he was my barber. He's actually my barber, but he's in Eastern religions and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
anyway, and anyway, whenever I'm in this chair, I'm always saying la. Whenever I'm cold, I say la. And he gets mad at me because I think he gets freaked out every time I be like la. I'm always like la. I remember everything, and I was like, he said, "What's that?" It's like it's just a little prayer. It means no God but God. And he said, "Oh, it reminds me of." I
Mhm.
know because it's almost like he said the way I use it sounds like how they use it for like for
Yeah, it's like a mantra.
yeah. So
It's just a
but
mantra.
yeah, it's my yeah exactly yeah. But my mantra yeah exactly.
Mhm.
It's the shahada or part of the shahada or the kalima it um by his expression what he expressed to me it seems comparable to a mantra.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, this is compared. So I have the mantra. I'm just always excited this mantra. But my mantra is Tawheed. So it's like, that's my mantra. When you hear that mantra, you always contemplate it all the time when that's your mantra.
Mm.
You understand? That's my mantra. That's my constant meditation. My constant mantra is la ilaha illallah.
Okay. I can dig it. I can definitely dig it. Can't understand it fully, but maybe one day I will. I'm trying.
No, it's okay. Uncompromising unity of Tawheed. Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
okay, what we end up reading? Ain't nobody coming on right now, so we can continue reading for a little bit.
Okay. Okay, so I think we were
The compassion.
Okay, the compassion which we have been examining is clearly an overflow of the beatitude which defines an essential aspect of ultimate reality, the oneness of which embraces all things by virtue of this compassion precisely. Inward beatitude, proper to the one, and outward compassion, integrating the many, is a subtle and important expression of the spiritual mystery of Tawhid. We observe this affirmation of Tawhid, another conceptual resonance between the two traditions, a resonance made clear by the following verses of Milarepa. Let's see what he says. Without realizing the truth of many being one, even though you meditate on the great light, you practice but the view of clinging. Without realizing the unity of bliss and void, even though on the void you meditate, you practice only nihilism.
Yeah, but the one difference between that already is that we cling to God. Let's think about it. We cleave. We even say we cleave to God.
Right,
So
right.
it's like, the truth of many being one. I mean, it's almost like it's because if okay, even if you were to say in the Milarepa and all these sort of Buddhist traditions that might come after the original Theravada or whatever the case may be, if you was to say it was a deity or something inside of it, it still will be short of our transcendent tawheed in a way because we cling into something. It's still that difference is still so no matter how much you try to say it resonates, to me the problem is because he says it resonates. Well, it's comparable, but I won't say it resonates because tawheed is so important that if you without it, nothing really resonates without it in Islam. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm,
It could be comparable. Okay, this is definitely comparable, right? But before I say resonates, you know what I'm trying to say? It's almost like resonate is a some level that I don't want to give it to without Tawheed. I don't want to associate Tawheed with anything short of Tawheed.
right, right.
You
Okay.
understand? It's just my thing because it's like shirkish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I, a Muslim always wants to protect Tawheed. Because that's what your whole religion is based upon. Everything else falls apart with Tawheed. The whole religion is built upon that one factor.
Mm, okay.
No.
So the truth of many being one can be read as a spiritual expression of Tawhid and mirrors many such expressions in Islamic mysticism. Indeed, the literal meaning of Tawhid being precisely a dynamic integration, not just a static oneness, it is derived from the form of the verb
Yeah.
wahada, meaning to make one.
Yeah, he's right, but it's to make one in your perception of God.
Mm,
Yeah, because I know what he's saying grammatically, right? But he's almost like he's trying to use the grammar to prove monism instead of absolute tawhid transcendent monotheism in a way. He's trying to make it seem like it's like the dharmic sense of a God somehow. You know what I'm trying to say? Like some pantheistic stuff. You know what I'm trying to say?
So
Yet
what
if
does he
tawhid is
mean?
one thing. Hmm?
What does he mean by being precisely a dynamic integration, not
Yes,
just
because the
a
word
static
tawhid,
oneness?
because it's the grammar of the word. It's the grammar of the word. That's why it's the grammar of the word. It's like it means unification. It means like unification.
Of what
It's the
though?
grammar of the word of your consciousness of your consciousness on the creator of your conscious of your thoughts of the creator is like theocentric is like absolute theocentricity.
So like everything that we just went through with the
What
whole
you mean?
sponge and the water and all that, like
Yeah.
all that.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right, all right.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
So Phenomenal diversity is thus integrated
Because look,
into.
a static oneness would be. Wait, I'm sorry. A static oneness would be like ahad. But the root of tawhid is in a static oneness though. The root of it is in the static oneness. You know what I'm trying to say? Like
Mm,
wahid and wahad. Those words, the verbal. I mean, yeah. I mean, even the root of what is still the root is still one. The root is a stagnant one, but it is like our. But tawhid refers to our consciousness of the one. Is a conscious integration of our consciousness to the reflection or meditation of the one.
mm.
Yeah, Tawhid is basically a meditation on the one. It's a meditation.
Okay.
You're a Muslim. Your life is a meditation. I'm saying it's a constant meditation. The la ilaha is a constant meditation. Yes, that's what it means.
All right. So phenomenal diversity is thus integrated into principal unity by means of the vision unfolding from this understanding of Tawhid. In these verses, Milarepa tells us one of his disciples that however much he may meditate on the supernal light, if he regards that light as being separate from all things by way of transcendence, then he cannot realize the immanence of that light in all that exists, that eminence by virtue of which the many become one, the face of reality being visible in everything that exists. See, like the.
No, because he's trying to make Islam sound Buddhist. That's my issue.
No, I know, but this is how I'm looking at it. This is how I'm looking at it.
Because he's trying to make it seem that way too. He's error too.
Mm,
You understand? I've always said it, he's trying to make it seem Tawhid seem more Buddhist than it is.
right, right.
You understand? He's trying to make it put it to Buddhist standpoint. No, it's not like that. No, it's not pantheism. He's trying to make Tawhid into pantheism, into basically the Dharma conception of God, and try to say that Buddhism latently or internally or underneath has a Dharmic sense of theism. That's the thing he's trying to think, and he's trying to put the Dharmic sense of theism as somehow connected to Tawhid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
All right. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much how I'm like looking at it. All right. In the absence of this vision, then meditation on the light results only in clinging. Clinging, that is, to a false distinction between the one and the many, a duality which will imprison the meditator within the realm of multiplicity. It
What,
is when.
where you
What's
at?
that?
Where you at? Okay, the realm of person. Okay. I see what you're saying. I see where you're at now. I see where you're at. You're in the bottom. You see, and everything you're saying is opposite of Islam. See, you said what? You said you're supposed to be separate from. So he's trying to say that you should look at as God as not being transcendent and the same as creation. And if you're clinging see, so this is he's saying everything he's saying is the opposite of Islam.
Hmm. Okay. Maybe he makes a different. I don't know.
Okay,
It
let's
is.
let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish, and let's see what he says. Yeah.
It's when Milarepa addresses the intrinsic nature of the void, however, that the similarity with the Islamic conception of the beatific Rahma of God emerges in a striking manner. Without realizing the unity of bliss and void, any meditation on the void is but nihilistic. I don't think he should be capitalizing bliss right here.
Cause he what? Cause he's making he's trying to make cause he if he trying to make cause he's trying to make it seem like Islam with the blissfully he's trying to see he's trying to merge religions too. He's trying to stretch. He might be
Yeah.
trying to stretch. He likes to stretch. I tell you from Islamic standpoint, he's definitely trying to make the Islam look more Buddhist than it is, or more in line with Buddhist thought or Dharmic thought than what it is.
Yeah, because he's capitalizing weird words. So the void is intrinsically blissful, or it is not the void. We saw earlier that nirvana and the void, or shunya, are essentially one. The term nirvana stressing the blissful nature of the state wherein one is conscious of the absolute, and the term void stressing the objective nature of the absolute. All right. Okay. Um, and the term, okay, transcending all things are full of false being. Larepa's verse makes clear this identity of essence and shows, moreover, that it is precisely because the void is overflowing with beatitude that the experience of the void cannot but be blissful. It is far from a nihilistic negation of existence and thought. How is he? So he's saying that the void, that shunya, is blissful. How could
And
it
he, should-
be
he I
blissful
don't
when
know.
it's not? You're not experiencing anything in shunya.
I don't know. Maybe the meditation of Shunya is this. I don't know. He might be trying to make it seem more Islamic. He's trying to make Buddhism seem more Islamic and Islam seem more Buddhist.
All right.
I mean, it might be just the meditation on it, but then that's attachment to a feeling. I don't know.
Knowing and experiencing the beatitude of the void, like, why is he attributing stuff to the void? Thus
He's trying to make
cannot
the void
but,
almost like God.
yeah,
He's trying to make it sound like Islam.
yeah, but cannot
This thing he's doing the reverse of what he was doing with Islam. Now he's doing the reverse with Buddhism. He's
engender.
trying to bring it together, not, but weaker. Not, I mean, he's stretching. He's stretching. He might be stretching. Okay, I don't know everything, but he might be. It smells. It feels like a stretch.
Yeah. Knowing and experiencing the beatitude of the void thus cannot but engender the soul a state of being reflecting this beatitude, and a wish to share that beatitude with all beings, such a wish being the very essence of compassion, which is not simply a capacity to feel the suffering of others as one's own, which articulates one level of ethical tawheed, but also at a higher level of tawheed, a capacity to bring that suffering to an end through making accessible the mercy and felicity ever flowing from ultimate reality.
He's trying to make Buddhism seem. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
He's trying
like
to make Buddhism
this.
seem Islam.
Yeah.
He's trying to make Buddhism seem like it's Islam, and before that he was trying to make Islam seem like it's Buddhism.
Right. This isn't right at all. This is the message which is immediately intelligible to any Muslim of the following verses of Milarepa. And if in meditation you still tend to strive, try to arouse for all a great compassion. Be identified with the All Merciful. See, Milarepa is like a philosopher guy or a scholar or something. I don't know too much about him. Here we see the All
Yeah, he's making
Merciful.
he's making Buddhism. See, but see, then again, I don't know about Buddhism that much. I don't know about Milarepa and but Anderson Milarepa is a hero amongst the in the whole Dharmic world. I don't know. I don't know about the Milarepa and stuff, but see, so the Milarepa is
Oh,
See,
the
but what's the
fact
all
that you don't
merciful?
feel anything is the blissful aspect. Okay. All right. I get it like that. All right. Um shoot, I lost my set. To identify okay. Here we see the all-merciful being identify with the absolute reality referred to earlier as the void. But here, the character of the void is clearly affirmed as infinite mercy. To identify with this mercy is to identify with the absolute. Arousing for all a great compassion means infusing into one's soul a quality which reflects the infinite compassion of the absolute.
He said soul.
Yeah, one from excuse me, one from whom compassion flows to all is one in whom the overflowing void compassion, as Milarepa calls it in another verse, has been realized. It ceaselessly overflows from the absolute to the relative, and to the extent that one has made oneself void for its sake, one becomes a vehicle for the transmission of the compassion of the void.
That's almost like Islam, where he says like you become like a lamp for God's light.
Rachungpa, listen to me for a moment. From the center of my heart stream glowing beams of light. This shows unity of mercy in the void.
Yeah, that sounds like an Islam that he shows. So I don't know. Maybe it's Middle. He's
Oh, this
close
is
to.
the end of this section. All right, after this paragraph, we'll knock it out.
Hold on. So okay, epilogue. Okay. So the next after this we have the epilogue, common ground of sanctity. Okay.
Yeah, this
So
is the last
we've gone
paragraph.
far.
Hmm.
Okay. So basically, if we do this, then what's epilogue? Okay. So we do this one, and then we finish off with the last episode with the next thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Because yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Okay.
yeah.
So the next episode is our last episode.
All right.
It
Well,
might be right because only the epilogue is left, right?
it should be,
Okay.
yeah. See how
What
many
page are we on? Okay.
pages.
Now
All right, so let me just, this isn't a big, let's just knock this paragraph out and then we could
okay.
do that. All right, so to conclude this section, it may be objected that however remarkable be the similarities between the Islamic and the Jodoshin conceptions of loving compassion that articulates the creativity of the absolute, Jodoshin cannot be taken as a representative of the broad Buddhist tradition and is rather an exception proving to the rule. To this, we would reply that the Jodoshin presentation of this crucial theme, God as a creator through compassion, does not prove that the two traditions of Islam and Buddhism can be crudely equated as regards this theme. Rather, it simply demonstrates that the differences between the Islamic conception of God as creator through compassion and the Buddhist silence on the question of such a creator need not be seen as the basis for a reciprocal rejection. Rather, the very fact that at least one Buddhist school of thought affirms the idea of a compassionate creator shows that there is no absolute incompatibility between two traditions as regards this principle. There's no need to claim that the principle plays an analogous role in both traditions, far from it. Definitive, central, and inalienable in Islam, and conceivable, possible, and at least not absolutely undeniable in Buddhism. All right. So,
So do you agree with that? So do you agree that theism is not undeniable, and so a creator is not undeniable in Buddhism? You agree with that?
in certain sects, yeah. I
So
get
certain
it.
sects absolutely deny it. So certain sects absolutely deny a creator,
Well, they don't deny it. They're not personifying it like they are,
but it's
like
not
the
undeniable.
Jewish and
But he
no,
says
they
not
never
absolutely
denied it.
undeniable. Okay,
No.
so if it's not deniable, it could. Yeah, okay. So it's
But
trying to say,
see,
okay,
but the thing is, right, is that certain things that Buddha said, like, could go against it, and then certain things he said could go for it.
so it's not
Um,
absolutely undeniable. The reason why, the reason is he's trying to say. I see the point he's trying to say. He's trying to say that Buddhism kind of does has the ability to evolve into. He's trying to say that it does have a ability to evolve into a theistic religion in a way and be more suitable, maybe with
yeah,
Tawhid
which it has
in
in certain Far
certain
Eastern
sects.
sects
Yes.
of it. Yeah,
Yeah, in certain
yeah.
states. And yeah, yeah, but that's a but see, but if you're doing a work like this, that's actually a good thing to highlight. You know why? Because then it shows comparability and it also shows ways that Muslims will promote. Because look, Islam is all about promoting Tawheed, right? 'Cause
Hmm.
even between the other religions like Christianity and Judaism, it tells us to put Tawheed first and first agree to Tawheed. So even if they don't agree with anything else in Islam, at least first agree to this Tawheed. You understand? That's just what it uh, um that just comes with that's like, that's even the verse where you get the common word. You remember how he said the original initiative within the Christians was a common word, right? It was
Yeah.
the same common word thing. I'll find it and bring it later. I'll bring it next time. I'll start off with that next time. I'll bring the common word thing. But that same verse is the verse they talk about. What's that come to a common word between people in the book? That's the Christians and the Jews that we should worship none, no God but God and put associate no partners with him if anybody and recommend what is good and forgive what is bad if anybody disagree that they're not on the right path. So yeah. So something like that. I forgot the exact verse, but I'll search for it and bring it up next time. And so so but anyway, yeah. So Islam puts the basis of interfaith harmony on Tawheed. It puts the emphasis on interfaith harmony on Tawheed. So if we could find ways to find Tawheed in Islam, it would help Muslims appreciate Buddhism more if there was Tawheed. If we could find Tawheed in it, it would, and it is even backed up by the Quran itself that we should
Hmm.
appreciate those striving for Tawheed.
Okay.
Then
Yeah.
that's how this even started because that's how because that verse was from the common word and now we're doing common ground. So that's important. If we're doing a work like that, this last point he's highlighting is an important point to highlight. If in the but because of the nature of the work we're doing.
All right. Yeah, I get you. I get you. I don't know if it's like a stretch to say it's Tawheed for
No, it's not.
you
It's a
know, like
stretch, right? That's
mm,
why he's saying certain traditions. So basically, he's trying to say that Muslims should see that if Muslims focus on the possibility of Tawheed growing out of Buddhism, Muslims will appreciate Buddhism more
right, right.
on the
But
Muslim side. Like it's not that it might not be that important to you, but to Muslim that's all important.
110, 112, so that's one. So it's like 27 pages, the wrap up.
Okay, you
So
want to start it and now
maybe
you
no, no, no. It's like 1:15 now.
yeah. No, yeah, it's too,
No,
yeah,
I was just
it's,
letting you know. So yeah, so it's not as well. There's still like
it's
20,
still
25
it's still
pages left.
okay. So no more than two more
No,
episodes.
yeah, yeah, two more I'd
I
say
mean,
at the
okay,
most.
yeah, yeah, two more at the most. Cause
Oh,
okay,
110,
so
136 minus 110. So that's 2, 5, 25 pages left.
okay,
All right. Well, yeah, this was a good one, man. This was a good
yeah, it
one.
was.
Yeah, this was a good one. I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
think about all this. Like, I'm gonna start contemplating this. Like, it's crazy to me. But yeah,
it's
I get
crazy.
what
Hold on.
Johnny's saying. Like, what the fact that you don't feel anything is the blissful aspect. So I get that, but that's what we experience while we're here. But like like, should the shunya have attributes? Like, does Shunya have descriptions, you know? And then could we say that's Tawheed? Like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's like, yeah. I mean, but look, you might not say it right, but some things that have been comparable to Tawhid has come out of Buddhism, and if
Mm,
Muslims see that being able to come out of Buddhism, naturally appreciate it too, and they'll encourage Buddhism as something that Tawhid can come out of because they've been encouraged to have a common ground on Tawhid.
right,
So we
right.
encourage the
Yeah.
Tawheed, no matter how it comes, even though we prefer our way. But the reason why we encourage it, regardless of how it comes, because we put God first, even before our own revelation and what it was given to us. We put a knowledge of Him first. He's first and foremost, even acknowledgement. We have to center everything on Him, and we always got to remember that He transcends everything, and His transcendent worship is the most important thing. Is the worshiping His transcendence.
Hmm.
So that's the point he's making, because that's the point that's even evolved from the common ground, from the common word, because it was instructed about it with the common word. And the common word was the common word of Tawheed, la ilaha illallah. That's the constant meditation of the Muslim before anything. Matter of fact, the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, said the most, he said the best dhikr, the best remembrance of God is la ilaha illallah. He didn't say la ilaha Muhammad 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 Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He didn't say that was the best. That was the best dirt. He said la ilaha illallah is the best dirt. Is the best remembrance of God. Is the best meditation. It's la ilaha illallah. The reason is because even before the prophet himself was God's slave. Yes, we're bound to what the prophet said because we have bayah. We give him the bayah. That's what we call it. We had the allegiance to the prophet, and he guided. He's our teacher. So we have the bayah, but his bayah. His bayah is only because of God's blessing on the bayah. God is the reason for the bayah. You know what I'm saying? God is the reason d'etre for our religion. You understand? So He comes first. So remembering God is more important to remember everything, because everything else falls apart without God. So we could find a remembrance of God in your tradition. There's some affection for that in Islam, regardless of what else we disagree upon in your religion. We have an affinity to Tawheed wherever it comes from. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the common word that comes to the bills on the common ground.
All right. Well, guess I'm gonna have to do my homework for next time.
Like what? What you do? I mean, you did good. You did good. You did good. You did good.
Hmm.
I mean, no, you did good. I mean, we're exploring something. We're exploring something. Even no, you did good.
Yeah, I just want to learn more about these like Jodo Shin sect. Like, I don't know a lot about
Oh, the
them.
Jodis. Oh, you want to do so? Oh, okay, okay. It's about
Yeah,
them you
like
want to
so
learn.
I
Okay, I
could
get it.
see like where like what this, like is there a definite God over there or like like what is going
That'll
on?
be
Is it
good.
Adi
Okay,
Buddha? Like is that what they're talking about or they're talking about
maybe.
Amida? So that's what
Well,
I wanted
do
to
your homework and
like
research. Okay, do your
yeah.
homework. You're right. Do your homework then.
Yeah, I want to
Do
see
your homework
cuz
and research. I still got the homework. I gotta bring up that hadith about the what was that hadith again? I just brought up. I know
oh,
the verse about the common ground. I gotta bring that back up tomorrow, and then I still gotta. I've been saying I was gonna say something about the Kaaba, so I definitely gotta eventually say something about the Kaaba and talk about the Kaaba and reflection, and is it idolatry or not, and compare it to the Buddha. That idolatry, and I gotta say something about that eventually, because I did. I've been promising I'm gonna say that. I gotta do my homework too, so I got two things on my plate. I gotta get ready for too. I gotta get that. The verse is gonna be easy to get that verse and just explain it a little bit more. Even though we started off with that verse in the first episode, I'm gonna reintroduce that verse again just because we're closing it out, right? We're going out with an epilogue now, so we'll bring that verse back up. And I was going to talk about the Kaaba and reflections of worship, and if Buddhism is idolatry or not, according to this reflection of worship, is philosophical idolatry or not. This from a philosophical standpoint, what's the difference between praying towards the Kaaba and praying with a Buddhist statue or going that? I'll talk about that. I'll talk a little bit about that because I've always said I was going to. I said I was going to talk about that before, so I'll bring up some verses and bring up some stuff and get that ready.
all right, I'm going to type whatever in the stream channel. and then to remind myself like what to look up and whatnot, and then when it will be a reminder, like if we forget, like it'll be on the screen next time. So, all right, well, yeah, it's almost 1:30. I think it's a good place to wrap it up. What you think? We got section 3 sorted out, so that was good. So yeah, next time we'll get into the epilogue and we'll wrap it up from there.
Yeah, yep, yep. That's what we do. Perfect. Perfect place to go.
Good.
Perfect.
Good. Thanks
Perfect
to
place.
everyone that came through, paid no attention to the man behind the curtain. Big up for coming through. Thank you for participating in the chat. Johnny John, Shines, Victor, Badmarsh, Anan, who else? Um, Everybody else, if I forgot. James Jones, my G.
James Jones came.
Yeah, he was St. James. He came in the
I,
beginning.
I missed it.
Yeah,
When did he come?
what did he
Oh,
say?
he did come. He did come. I missed that.
He
Stop.
said if you,
I
I'm
missed it.
not gonna recommend if you don't entertain me or something like that.
What did he say?
Stop at 5. Come get your girl, she wildin'. That's Wolf came through too. Pick up. Yeah, pick up
Yeah, what came
everyone. So
through?
yeah. So yeah, we'll catch y'all and yeah, thanks. Peace everyone.
All right, then, everybody. See you later. Bye bye.